a team facing elimination needs to have it. Heard Wes Walls on the TV pregame show saying, as a player, you never want to leave anything behind. When this game's over, if you're the Wild, you want to feel like you left it all out there. From your experience, broadcasting, playing, being around this game for so many decades, what do you need to have in an elimination game?
You have to have that nervous energy. You really have to have that, Joe. There's no question about those guys in the dressing room right now on both sides are thinking what they have to do. This game is going to start. How's it going to start? What's going to happen? What am I going to do? How am I going to contribute? What happens is, your mind's going through a number of different scenarios right now. And that's what you want. But because all of a sudden being nervous like that is a good thing, because now you really focus on what you have to do once you step on the ice.
How about the Golden Knights? An experienced team, a lot of Stanley Cup champions. We talked about all series long. What's their approach?
I think their approach is, hey, guys, we have 2 games to go here, and we only have to win one of those games. So let's see what happens here right now. It's so much nicer to win on the road, and then we have some extra time off to rest and heal from all those little injuries that take place during the course of playoff competition.
In game number 5, it was a second straight overtime win for the Golden Knights as they've won now back-to-back games in this series for the first time. Turned out to be a 3-2 overtime setback for Minnesota. Golden Knights scoring early in overtime. Brett Howden's second game winner of this series, his second career overtime winner as well. The Wild, of course, rallied twice to tie that game from 1-goal deficits. They thought maybe they had won it on Hartman's late goal in the third. It was wiped off the board, offside challenge, successful by Vegas. At night's end, Minnesota was outshot 32-22. Tom, it was a gut punch. It's one that will certainly sting. The Wild have to shake it off quickly, though, don't they?
Yeah, they certainly do. I mean, you and I both felt that also, Joe. There's no question that when things like that happen, you're on a high, and all of a sudden it's taken away from you. And now you have to think, now what happens here? Now we lose this game in overtime, and now we have to win the next 2 games. But it can be done. These two teams are pretty evenly matched. I think Minnesota has played well enough. They could win all 5 of these games they played in. So we'll see if that trend continues here in game number 6.
The Wild all-time facing elimination, 13-13, 5-6 on home ice. The puck drops next. 2 teams hitting the ice here. Should be a great environment. The Wild trying to stay alive. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
No matter who you are or what you do, there's a Ford vehicle that can help you own the day. Make life on the go a walk in the park with the new Ford Explorer. Become the MVP of the work site with the unrivaled performance of a new built Ford Tough F-Series truck, the best-selling trucks in America. Or discover what it really means to adventure in the great outdoors with the new Bronco Sport. Whether it's for work or play, there's a Ford with a great deal waiting at your local Northland Ford dealers. Don't wait. Get behind the wheel of a new Ford today. Based on calendar year total sales.
At the Home Depot, we know the world is a messy place. Keeping it clean takes science. That's why businesses everywhere have long trusted cleaning products from Ecolab to take on the toughest messes. And now, that level of clean is available for your home. Introducing Ecolab Scientific Clean, a full line of professional-grade cleaning products for all your home's needs, so you can clean like you mean business. Now available exclusively at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Incubus, live. Nice to know you. Performing the album Morning View in its entirety, plus the hits. Saturday, July 5th, the Treasure Island Amphitheater. With special guest, Manchester Orchestra. On sale now at TICasino.com. Don't miss Incubus performing Morning View in its entirety, plus the hits.
You have a plan for your business and a vision for its future. So it's important to have a banking partner that works to understand all of your goals and what it will take to help you reach them. Work with a banker who is dedicated to listening first and providing insightful, personalized advice that's right for you and your business. Work with Bremer Bank, because understanding is everything. Put us to work for you today at bremer.com.
From the first time you lace up your skates, you dream big that one day you too will get a chance to lift that big silver cup over your head.
Odor, behind the net to Sanderson.
It's the greatest trophy in all sports, and the journey to capture it begins now.
Tonelli to Nystrom. He scored! Bob Nystrom scores the goal. The Islanders win the Stanley Cup.
The Royal It will be a difficult one of the most grueling in all of sports. But the end result, it's worth all the blood, sweat, and tears.
Instant shoots and a tremendous save by Curry. They've done it. The Penguins have done it.
This is where dreams are realized and legends are born. Welcome to the 2025 Stanley Cup Playoffs.
The Wild in the 2025 Stanley Cup Playoffs is presented in part by BMO, a proud presenting partner of the Minnesota Wild playoff season. Treasure Island Resort and Casino, Minnesota's destination for fun. Plan your island getaway at TICasino.com. Excel Energy, proud partner of the Minnesota Wild. And by the Minnesota Wild Podcast. Get your daily audio at wild.com/podcast or subscribe at youtube.com/MNWildPodcast.
And now, live from Excel Energy Center, here's Tom Reed and Joe O'Donnell.
John DeCosmaker with the Star Spangled Banner. Crowd still filtering in here. The Wild and the Golden Knights game number 6. And how about a special guest for Let's Play Hockey? Listen to this place for Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell.
Welcome, Kevin O'Connell! All right, Coach, take it away!
All right, Wild fans, it's Game 6 of the playoffs. You guys know what to do. Everybody say it with me. Let's play hockey!
A big smile on his face. I hope there's a smile on his face after each game this year that he competes in the National Football League.
Same goaltenders starting for all 6 games thus far. Philip Gustafson, Aiden Hill for their respective sides. Wild from right to left on your radio dial in the opening period. Tonight, wearing their green jerseys, the Golden Knights from left to right in the opening frame in their white sweaters. A win and a Game 7 Saturday night in the Sin City for Minnesota. If the Golden Knights prevail, the Wild send packing. And we're underway with Eriksson Ek stashing it back to Faber right side, gains the red line, throws it in. Back is Shea Theodore, hounded by Boldy. Theodore off the right wing boards, trying to muscle it along. It's chipped out the center. And it's Jack Eichel fumbling it away. Kaprizov skates to it, finds Eriksson Ek off the Boldy right wing boards. Boldy with 5 goals in the series, trying to cut one in front. That was knocked away. Faber to pinch in right side, swerved it back in the net. McNabb intercepts up the middle of the ice. Dangerous pass. Faber turned and fired, and he missed. Kind of whipped on that chance, spinning at the inner half of the right dot. Keeping in left point Kaprizov. A hurried shot knocked away by Eichel. And it'll lead the Golden Knights ahead in the 3-on-3. Jack Eichel over the blue line left circle with the shot. Faber blocked it to the corner. It's deflected along for Boldy to chisel it out right side. Eriksson Ek lost his skate blade, it appeared. He goes falling down awkwardly as the Golden Knights attack here. Victor Olofsson, a backhander off the rush. His first game back after being scratched the last 2. Gustafson the save. He's able to hang on.
Yeah, good save also. At the same time, you want your goaltender to get a feel for the puck as quickly as possible, and that certainly happens here at the 55-second mark of the scoreless first period. Faceoff is going to be deep in the Minnesota zone to the left of the man they call Gus. Philip Gustafson has been terrific for Minnesota for, I would say, 90% of the season. He's been a mainstay for Minnesota.
.919 save percentage for Gustafson, stopping 148 of the 161 shots he's seen. Of course, he left Game 5 with illness. My understanding, Tom, he was sick most of the afternoon leading up to the game, tried to gut it out, and after 2 periods just gave way to Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah, it's probably a good move. Hard to do that. It's hard to give up that spot. You don't want to lose it for fear you don't get back into it. But he's a gamer. He did exactly what he should have done.
Hurdle taps one in. The Wild break it out as Hartman squeezes it through the neutral zone. Whitecloud, hounded by Foligno, pushes his way into the offensive end. Back to grab it, Noah Hannafin. They'll say the Wild in early. They've got to clear the line to keep from being offside. Hannafin now to sit in his own slot as both teams finish a change. Noah Hannafin spins it to the right wing boards. Whitecloud stashes it in. Golden Knights this time in early. Or at least that's the initial indication from one of the linesmen. The other had his arm down, and so play continues here as Nyquist fights the loose change out to the neutral zone and then comes up with a steal. Gustav Nyquist racing in left wing side. Danced past the check and got off an in-tight shot that was handled by Hill. Nyquist just 1 shot on goal the entire series. Before that opportunity, of course, a lot of Wild fans upset he was the player offside on what could have been the game winner in Game 5 from Hartman late in regulation.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone more upset than he was.
Johansson holds the blue line, paddles it down low. Nice start for Minnesota. Just over 2 minutes gone by in the opening period. There's no score in Game 6. Is an up-ice dish by Pietrangelo, tipped in by Ivan Barbashev. Last time we were in this building, Barbashev sent the Golden Knights home happy with that overtime winner. Rossi now in transition, racing in, wristing one. It was slowed down in front, handled by Hill, pulled underneath him. And now a penalty. Rossi clipped Pietrangelo, or is that Eichel? Down next to the net after the whistle. He was just going hard to the front of the net. It's actually Braden McNabb, third time's a charm. Let's get another look here, Tom. He's just going to the front of the net. And then McNabb kind of pushes him, and when he does, his stick comes up.
That's exactly right. McNabb turned at him and gave him a little shot first.
Minnesota penalty, 23, 4-minute double minor high sticking.
Oh, boy. Not the way you want to start the game. And I can tell you that Rossi right now, just where his head is right now, I'm not quite sure, but it's not in a very good place after taking that double minor. But it comes at 2 minutes and 37 seconds of the period.
I mean, Jared Spurgeon over to talk to the officials, see if they can look at this thing to possibly review it. McNabb did go down the tunnel. And John Hines trying to get the officials' attention, saying it was a stick lift. Boy, Golden Knights have taken the fewest minors in the entire Stanley Cup playoffs. They did that as well in the regular season. Very disciplined group. And we saw a double minor burn the Wild in Game 4 in this building in the third period when Bouillon went to the box.
Well, right now, you look at the Vegas Golden Knights there, 4 for 14 on the power play, which is 7th overall at 28.6%. Minnesota on the PK, they are 12th at 77.8%.
They were 3 for 3 in Game 5. Here's a chance for Eichel to lug it along. Eichel speeding one up ice. It's broken up and laid down by Minnesota. Hayden Hill out with his goal stick to hand it off to Shea Theodore. Theodore carries along, drops it back for Eichel, had a couple of assists in Game 5. Eichel carries in, right circle, trying to slide his way past some pressure. Knuckled it up top for Theodore. Rolled along left wing side, Victor Olofsson. Replacing Dorofeev, not only in the lineup, but on the power play as well. Theodore and Olofsson play catch. Now down below the goal line, Mark Stone. Slapped it along to Eichel, left wing boards. Down low to Stone, through one of the back posts. Olofsson jabbed it wide. Eichel to the carom, his pass up top, Theodore. Now to Olofsson, handles it, waits, goes back to Theodore, high slot, wristing one, he scores. Traffic in front, Shea Theodore is giving the Golden Knights an early 1-0 lead.
Yeah, that power play certainly is going to kill Minnesota, and right now that's the first one, and they still have another minor to go through with a 2:58 showing on the clock right now. The first minor penalty will be nullified, but the second one, unfortunately, will be a full 2 minutes. So this penalty coming at 3 minutes and 30 seconds of the opening period.
Golden Knights, in 2 of their 3 wins in this series so far, have scored a power play goal, or have scored 2 power play goals in 2 of those 3 victories. And Theodore gets his second of the series. And again, Rossi's got to stay in the box because they scored just a minute and 2 in. So a draw out at center ice. Eriksson Ek and William Karlsson on it. One thing John Hines mentioned with Karlsson, Eichel, and Stone now playing together for the Golden Knights. And 2 centermen there with Karlsson and Eichel. As we've seen now as the series has moved along, it's very important for the Wild top line on top line to win the faceoff battle.
Assisted by
again, that's more 5-on-5 related.
Time of the goal, 3:30. Power play goal for the Golden Knights. Theodore from Olofsson and Eichel at 3:30.
Brodin deep in his own zone, squeezing one free to Spurgeon. Wrapped up, he's able to muscle it out through center.
Well, just kill this one off right now. That's their biggest thought right now is don't worry about what's going to happen later on. Just make sure you kill off this one.
Here's William Karlsson attacking left wing wall. Spun it all the way around for Nick Waugh. Waugh has a power play goal in this series. He'll work it to Riley Smith. Up top to Hannafin. Shuttled along to Karlsson. Back to Hannafin. Walking in with a shot. Knocked away by the glove of Gustafsson. Rebound grabbed by Freddie Gaudreau. Simply chips it down the ice.
Play by Gaudreau. Just get off the ice also. Just a few seconds on the PK.
Johansson, Nyquist, Middleton, and Faber now on the PK. Drop pass here sends Eichel ahead. Top power play unit back out for Vegas. A right wing feed for Mark Stone. Stone deep into the wild end. Bounced it all the way back to Theodore. Has the game's only goal. He'll chunk it along to Olofsson. Now left wing corner Eichel pressured. An aerial pass up top. Theodore over to Olofsson. Fanned on his one-timer. Middleton hurries to it and didn't get it out. Johansson then able to strip Olofsson and falling down. Slide the puck through center.
Yeah, second effort.
Johansson now broke up a pass at his blue line. And he'll stuff it back out to the neutral zone again. A half minute to go on the double minor to Rossi. Golden Knights have already drawn first blood in Game 6. Bogosian right wing corner in his own end. Takes his time, waits and frisbees it right up the middle of the ice and all the way down again. 20 seconds left on the power play. Theodore reversed. Eichel to carry Vegas alone. Jack Eichel at the offensive blue line. Slows the pace down, weaves towards the left wing boards. Eichel into the corner, spinning away from Bogosian. Jack Eichel, rink wide. Pietrangelo has to grab it off the right wing wall. Turn it up top to Theodore. Theodore shooting one. Gustafsson the save. And he's got it for a whistle with 1 second left on the penalty to Ross.
Yeah, quick release by Theodore. Also, in the 67 games he played this year, he had 7 goals, but 50 assists also in that stretch. He's a guy that was the number 1 draft choice by Anaheim a number of years ago, makes his way to the Golden Knights, and has really performed well on that blue line. A very good offensive defenseman. Face off deep in the Minnesota zone right now to the left of Philip Gustafsson.
Golden Knights all time trying to eliminate an opponent. 11-11 record. 5-7 on the road. 1-2 against Minnesota. You go back to that 2021 series. The Wild won Game 6 in this building 3-0. Cam Talbot made 23 saves. Ryan Hartman had the eventual game winner. Here's Boldy right side, lofting it ahead as Rossi's out of the box. The Wild are back to full strength. But again, the team that scored first, 5-0 in this series. And the Stanley Cup playoffs entering play today, 27-13, with teams getting the first goal. Merrill, a point drive, ricocheted around, Bogosian pinched in. Kaprizov tried to center, kind of flubbed it. It's grabbed by Riley Smith, who darts along and finds Nick Waugh. Back to Smith. Couldn't get past Bogosian's pressure. Bogosian laid it around his end wall. Eric Sinek trying to come up with it. Riley Smith there for a moment. Boldy picked his pocket, springs it along right wing boards. It's Kaprizov. Cutting back inside his own slot, Kirill Kaprizov. Feeding John Merrill. Merrill, the former Vegas Golden Knight expansion pick, just flies it in from long range. Aiden Hill hangs on. And a stoppage here, a TV timeout. 13:45 to go. Opening period in Game 6 from St. Paul. The Wild trail 1-0. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Alert the press!
We are the press.
Page 6 Radio, a brand new show, is on Sirius XM.
I'm Danny Murphy. I'm Evan Reel.
And I'm Ian Moore, editor at Page 6, the New York Post's iconic celebrity news column.
We're your backstage pass to the hottest pop culture and entertainment stories you won't find anywhere else.
We're breaking stories before you've even had your first mimosa.
It's iconic, legendary, everything. Page 6 Radio, weekdays at 8 a.m. East, only on Sirius XM Stars, Channel 109,
and on the Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
December 15th, Vancouver Canucks were in the playoffs. And this is when they had that big controversy going on. So they had to do something about it. And they did do something about it. Well, now they're not in the playoffs. You know what? They're not even really close anymore. This is the most absurd season falling apart. The most disappointing team this season of the 32 are the Vancouver Canucks.
NHL Morning Skate
with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stiller.
Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern
on NHL Network Radio,
Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. In case you missed it,
on NHL Network Radio.
Buchnevich for the deflection. They shoot. They score! Jimmy Snuggerud. His first is a blue. 3-0 St. Louis. It's a power play goal. And in the biggest NHL game of his young career, he scores his first NHL goal. Smile away, kid. Smile away.
NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91,
and the Sirius XM app.
First period, and it's a power play goal by the Golden Knights, giving them the lead. But Joe and I were just looking at the replay of that. We could see it from up here that stick was lifted by McNabb into his own face and cut himself. I mean, and Joe, you're right. Why not take a look? When there's blood like that, you're not quite sure. Oh, that's, are they saying, oh, that's what I saw? Well, maybe you saw something that wasn't right.
Another penalty call coming. I think this on Minnesota again. Tom Spurgeon, a long shot. It was caught by Aiden Hill. A Wild player bumped into him. Now, was he pushed in?
There's going to be a cross-checking call.
It might be on Noah Hannafin, actually. Hartman hit Aiden Hill. Hill got up angry, but Hartman hit him because Hannafin pushed him in.
Vegas penalty 15, 2 minutes, 5 seconds.
Well, you know what this means, Tom. They got to take advantage.
That's exactly right. And Minnesota's got to work in that power play. They've had situations all season long where just getting that goal will give some life back on, not just to the players, but in the base of the fans as well.
And if you're out there listening and saying, oh, maybe it's a makeup call, it wasn't. It was a clean cross check, as clear as day, from Noah Hannafin on Ryan Hartman's side of the cage. So, the Wild power play gets an opportunity here early in Game 6. They were 1 for 3 in Game 5, 3 for 11 in the series. Just the 12th minor penalty the Golden Knights have taken now in 5+ games. Draw to the right of Hill. It's Spurgeon, back of the point. Not the 5-4 look as we've seen at times for Minnesota with the top unit. Bouncing puck near the blue line, held in by Boldy, looking for Eric Sinek. It's intercepted, and it's stashed down by William Karlsson. Golden Knights have 2 shorthanded goals in the series. One of them in Game 3, one of them in Game 5. As Kaprizov feeds Zuccarello, bursting in left wing wall. Matt Zuccarello all the way down low around the net of Hill. Muscle to pass loose, but it's cut off by Eichel and shifted down. So the Golden Knights PK to change with 7 minutes gone by in the first. Shots are 4 aside. The Wild trailing Game 6 1-0. Kaprizov muscled it ahead. Eric Sinek turns it the way of Boldy. He'll rim it around the board. Zuccarello pressured immediately. Carved it back around for Boldy right side. Boldy bothered by McNabb. It comes to the point. Spurgeon looks to Zuccarello outside the left circle. Fluttered it into the corner. Kaprizov back of the net. Wheeling out with it right side. Kirill Kaprizov. Kaprizov floats a past the center point. Spurgeon handed off Zuccarello. Took a shot, missed it wide, and it sails off the boards and all the way down.
Yeah, good passing play with Kaprizov leading the parade on that one. Good shot also by Spurgeon, just a little bit shot wide of the net.
Very much pressure-oriented penalty kill for Vegas. They've, at least in my estimation, made some changes here. They are buzzing all up ice against Minnesota's. Johansson speeds along, feeds Gustav Nyquist right circle. Nyquist rink-wide pass. Rossi off the left wing boards from the bottom of the circle, now just below the goal line. Turns it up top, rotating one to Faber. Brock Faber across the blue line, shooting one. Blocker saved by Hill, and the puck will kick out the center. Look out, getting to it, Brandon Saad. Faber's back, Saad in right circle. Took a shot, Gustafsson the save. 15 to go in the power play. Rossi headmans for Hartman. Hartman bursting over the blue line, partially poke check, spun it free, it ricocheted back to him. Hartman now firing one down low. Nyquist to grab it. He's bumped by McNabb, and McNabb will outlet the Eichel, and that's going to do it for the power play.
Yeah, you watch the Vegas Golden Knights. You're absolutely right, Joe. The pressure they're putting on as a penalty killers is doing them some positive moves right now.
Yeah, just don't think it's something that I really noticed through the first 5 games. So we'll see how the Wild adjust. Should they get more man advantage opportunities here in Game 6? As Eichel just shy of the offensive blue line, connects with Stone. Mark Stone's first goal of the series came in Game 5. As he'll just feed Karlsson for a backhander trapped by the glove of Philip Gustafsson.
Well, attention to our season ticket members. Once again, we're going to reward you for listening all season long with the Forever Wild Reward points. Enter the code BINGO to receive 100 bonus points on your account. That offer will end at midnight tomorrow. Once again, that word is bingo.
11:17 to go in the opening period. Shots are 6-4 in favor of the visitors. The Wild trailing Game 6 1-0. Off the draw, Ivan Barbashev, a quick shot. That tipped wide, kicked off the end wall. Riley Smith skates to it. Centered Barbashev's drive, knuckled around in front. Marcus Foligno skates to his left and flings it off the glass. Well, the Golden Knights turn it over at center. Goudreau found Trenyon, looking to center for Foligno. They'll chase to it off the right wing wall, stash it up top. Faber, a quick drive blocked. And Barbashev carries Vegas along. Left wing pass for Waugh, back to Barbashev. Try to twist it in front, muted by Trenyon. Couple of Russians there go to the corners. Waugh dug it free, worked it to Whitecloud. Whitecloud a shot, glanced off the end wall. Kicks all the way up to the left point for Hannafin to label along to Waugh. And he'll swing it into the corner, where Brodin was there for Minnesota for a moment. Now Nick Waugh centering Barbashev, fanned on his shot. Faber with a pass. Hit the flex along for Foligno to pick up, gain the red line, and jarred it in on a second effort. Getting to it first is Justin Brazeau. Right wing corner, Brazeau. Fought past the check, centered. A shot in tight by Trenyon, and somehow it stayed out. Boy, Hill really had a stretch out there from post to post.
Yeah, and he's a big body also. Just couldn't grab onto the puck to put it behind the goaltender.
Brazeau steals inside his own blue line, muscled it out to the neutral zone. Hill's still bent over in his goal crease, Tom. I wonder if that post to post stretch might have stretched him out a little bit too much.
Let's hope so.
Wild rim one in. Brazeau with help coming from Kaprizov. Kaprizov dug it loose, tried to center, ricochets around, whacking at it a couple of times with Rossi. It ends up in the right wing corner. Marco Rossi from low to high. Bogosian goes D to D. Merrill left point, back across the blue line. Bogosian activated as Kaprizov one touch one in front. It tips up high for Bogosian to gather and spike down low for John Merrill to tip free. Here is Kirill Kaprizov getting an extra shift here for Minnesota. Absorbed a check, spun off a hit, but his pass draws the Wild out to center. Bogosian loads and rockets it back in. Both teams go for a change. 9.5 minutes to go in the opening period. Wild trail 1-0 in Game 6. Trail the best of 7, 3 games to 2. Keegan Kolesar at the center line. Tosses it in. Back is Spurgeon. Hurried it along right side Johansson. Nice pass to Eriksson. Bashed along for Boldy. Boldy's got some room. Theodore closing. Boldy trying to cut in front. Spinning. Took a shot. Rebound for Middleton. And somehow that stayed out. Boy, a scrambly sequence again around Aiden Hill's goal crease.
It really has been. And that's the point I was trying to make earlier. The fact that this goals against average and the save percentage is not very good. Just keep pressuring him.
Matt Boldy now on a breakout pass right side. Leads the charge along. He'll feed it into open ice looking for Eriksson, but this play is offside. So the pace heightening here in St. Paul. 8:51 to go, opening period. The Wild trail Game 6, 1-0. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
So, after you lift weights, your body keeps burning calories for hours post-workout.
Oh, like a BMO Savings Builder account.
What?
With BMO, I can get a reward every month I save.
So, you're getting an extra reward for the work you've already done?
Exactly. Plus, BMO gave me a cash bonus when I opened a checking account.
That's a flex.
This is a flex. Check out these pythons.
Pump up your savings with BMO. Conditions apply. Learn more at BMO.com/kickstart. Accounts are subject to approval and are provided in the United States by BMO Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
BMO.
Beautiful mountains, wide open spaces, bustling cities and towns. There's a lot to love in our home states. And at Xcel Energy, we take pride in helping our local communities thrive. Beyond providing reliable energy, we help support the local economy and fund education with grants. Because your home is our home. And together, we can make it a better place to live, work, learn, and play. See how at excelenergy.com/community.
Stanley Cup scoreboard.
A total of 4 Game 6s tonight, including in Ottawa, where the Toronto Maple Leafs are trying to end the season for the Senators. Maple Leafs lead the series 3-2, and they lead the hockey game 1-rip after 1 period of play. Austin Matthews, his second of the series. Quickly, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Everything is better on ice.
Goes his way in. Provorov cuts it and scores!
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Stars lead the Avalanche. Kings lead the Oilers. Both those games coming up later on tonight. For now, back to Joe and Tom.
Well, we've got 8:51 to go here in period number 1. The Shots right now have Minnesota the lead in that department, 7-6. But unfortunately, it's the Vegas Golden Knights who have a 1-goal lead right now. It was a power play goal by a double minor call against Rossi, which was the wrong call because the referee missed it. Didn't see exactly what happened. Never even bothered to check with anybody else. Just called the penalty, and it resulted in a goal with Rossi in the box.
Back to live action. Faber lifts in from center. Top line out for Minnesota. Same for the Golden Knights. Hit on the forecheck went Boldy. Flattened McNabb. Right wing side Stone has to ice this puck being pressured by Brodin. And there's the whistle.
I can only imagine what a guy like Rossi was feeling sitting in that penalty box. I've been there in those situations, especially when you get in playoff competition. You think, and to know you didn't do anything wrong. That's the bad thing also. If you did something wrong, I get it. But you know what? It's a lesson learned once again, not just for the players, but also maybe for the officiating.
Eriksson and Eichel on the face-off. Eriksson's been great in the dot for Minnesota. 54.8 face-off percentage in the series so far. He'll win this one back cleanly. Faber left circle, firing one of his blocked. Eriksson helped it free. Kaprizov a shot, shouldered down by Hill. awkwardly at that, and he's on top of it again for a whistle.
Everyone thought that the Vegas Golden Knights were just going to walk in and take part of the heart out of Minnesota in this series. But you know what? Minnesota is just as good as that other team on the opposite side, in my mind. They've got some high-powered guys, but they play so well collectively. And right now, if you look at the shots, Minnesota's taking the lead in that 8-6. Face-off deep in the Vegas zone once again. Face-offs are critical.
Eriksson wins another one back. Faber feeds it. Brodin a drive, ricocheted around, and unable to come up with it was Eriksson. Gets jammed out to center. Bouncer that Brodin swats along. Boldy protects inside his blue line, weaving it free now. Kaprizov. The real Kaprizov with 9 points in the series, tied for the second most across the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. Several players up there as well. There's a bouncing puck for Eriksson, offensive zone, fed it to Faber. Faber tried to go back to Eriksson, broken up by Eichel. Faber wins the war to regain puck possession, but his pass for Kaprizov goes errant, and both teams will change as the Golden Knights reset with Shea Theodore. Golden Knights, by the way, in elimination games when scoring first 9-5. The Wild 5-11 in elimination games when giving up the first one. Here's Middleton at the blue line, tapping in left wing side. Back is Whitecloud. Hartman hounds him. Hartman tried to come up with the puck. It's stabbed loose now for Brandon Saad for the Golden Knights. He's swarmed, and he loses it. Hartman back of the cage. Hannafin hounds him, and Hannafin makes a great play to keep Hartman at bay. Saad now with another pass that goes errant. It's Spurgeon to stash it down low. Hartman behind the net. Turned to his backhand. Found Foligno right wing corner. Muscle to the right point now for Spurgeon. Just flicked it back behind the net again for Hartman. Hartman turned and spun one for Foligno. A shot. And Hill was in a great spot to make the stick save. Well, the Wild really starting to buzz here, Tom.
Yeah, good puck movement by Minnesota also. Look at those passes are, for the most part, tape to tape.
Zuccarello with a pass that careened away from Hartman. The Wild regroup at center. Bogosian and Merrill. He'll gallop along left side. Peel it in, and then pressure here as Hill sent it around looking for Pietrangelo. Right wing corner on the forecheck. Foligno came up with it for a moment. It's tapped loose. Riley Smith burst ahead. He had it pried loose by Merrill. Bogosian to rescue the loose change up to Zuccarello, but he fanned on his dump it. Waugh sprinkles it ahead. It's sprayed in by Barbashev. Back is Bogosian. Reversed it. Zuccarello couldn't get it past the pressure of Nick Waugh. Waugh sent it along. Riley Smith traded 6 times in his NHL career. Second stint here with the Golden Knights. Will go back to Waugh. Up top for a drive by Haig. Gustafsson found a lot of traffic around him. Barbashev goes back to Haig again. Nick Haig wheels it back of the cage. Merrill cuts it off. He's leaned on immediately. And a bouncing puck now ends up where Bogosian will fight his way for it, but lost it. A centering pass batted away by Merrill. And a ricocheting puck now knocked away from trouble by Gaudreau, who speeds it out to the neutral zone. Golden Knights on a quick regroup, and they are offside. Didn't clear the line properly. And a timeout on the ice. Fast-moving opening period, 5:54 to go in the first. It's Game 6. The Wild trail 1-0. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
No matter who you are or what you do, there's a Ford vehicle that can help you own the day. Make life on the go a walk in the park with the new Ford Explorer. Become the MVP of the work site with the unrivaled performance of a new built Ford Tough F-Series truck, the best-selling trucks in America. Or discover what it really means to adventure in the great outdoors with the new Bronco Sport. Whether it's for work or play, there's a Ford with a great deal waiting at your local Northland Ford dealers. Don't wait. Get behind the wheel of a new Ford today. Based on calendar year total sales.
2 bands, 1 night. Bachman Turner Overdrive. The Marshall Tucker Band. Roll on down the Highway 2025 tour. Saturday, July 19th, live at the Treasure Island Amphitheater. With special guest Jefferson Starship. A night of vintage PTO. A night of classic Marshall Tucker Band. Tickets on sale now at TICasino.com.
What's up, sports fans? Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight for another night of the Playoff Pulse campaign here on Toronto Sports Insider and Sons of a Pitch Soccer Central. Got to check out with the new notebook. It's come in handy with all of the scheduling. Tonight we have 3 lives here on TSI as we prepare for our Leafs Game 6 tomorrow night. That's the big one. But the 3 matchups here on TSI, Montreal and Washington. We have our Blue Jays are struggling. Blue Jays against the Boston Red Sox.
The Sox are 10-7 in favor of the Wild, but they haven't scored yet, Joe, and they need to get one right. The face-off right now is outside Minnesota's defensive zone, right by the penalty box area.
Up to the second, the Wild outscoring the Vegas Golden Knights 8-6 in the first period of this series and 17-16 overall. Yet they are the team facing elimination. And down 1-0 here in Game 6 is Hanifin in his left circle. Plays it to White Cloud, up ice for a tip by Keegan Colasar. Was lauded by his head coach Bruce Cassidy on that overtime game winner in Game 5, even though he didn't register a point in the score sheet. Kind of set the whole play up for the Golden Knights. Here's White Cloud again, skating ahead through center. Fed it up for a tip by Tanner Pearson, who had the primary assist on the Game 5 winner. He'll shoot it in. The Wild break it out cleanly with Rossi bouncing it along. Brazeau grabs it, tries to roll it in. It's blocked, and kicks free now for Jonas Brodin, who dances back through center, puts it on the tape of Faber. Hand it back to Brodin, up ice for a tip by Jules Eriksson. Slowed down by the Golden Knights. Stone's pass read and cut off by Faber. Boldy now to Kaprizov, but he was stripped. Mark Stone tries to push it ahead into open ice. Eichel and Faber there, and Eichel in tight. Had a side angle chance at the outside of the cage. Matt Boldy now on a pass from Kaprizov, leads the Wild ahead. Boldy over the blue line right side, got past Brady McNabb. Boldy protects as Stone came to deal with him. Boldy trying to kick it free, lost his footing. Eriksson joins the scrum. He hits the deck. Boldy's back to his skates. Eriksson worked it to him, but his pass for Brodin explodes back the other way.
Yeah, Minnesota's making a change back in the blue line also. That's the reason why the puck went all the way back down the ice.
Jake Middleton sits behind his own net here. We tick down in the first period. The final 4:20, the opening frame. The Wild down 1-0 in Game 6. Hartman to Kaprizov. Left back for Ryan Hartman. Hartman danced it along off the right wing wall. Spurgeon, the Wild captain, chips it in. Nick Hague around his end wall. Pietrangelo had trouble with it. Boldy back of the net for Kaprizov. Back off the Boldy left wing corner. Spun with the puck, Boldy to his forehand. Knifed it back behind the net, Kaprizov tried to center. It ricocheted to Spurgeon, tapped up top Hartman, outside the right circle, fired one, blocker saved by Hill. Middleton pinches in and grabs a rebound. Hill interchanged with Boldy, Boldy the right circle for Hartman. Had to grab it off the end wall, stashed it back around for Boldy. Boldy bumped by Brandon Saad, absorbed that check, tried to center, Hurdle blocked it. Skating to it, though, was Hartman. He'll feed the point for Middleton. Laid along to the right side, Spurgeon. Spurgeon activates through the high slot. Carved it back to Middleton. It jumped over his tape. He'll grab it and rattle it down low. It skips off the glass. Pietrangelo to hustle it ahead. And out through center ice, Brandon Saad. Pressuring him, Middleton. Saad trying to cut in front. He got in with a shot. And Gustafsson made the save. Saad to his own rebound. Brandon Saad looking for some help. Wound it to the right point, White Cloud. White Cloud shaking it to Hanifin for a drive in front that hit a couple of skates. Is picked up by Hartman. Will frisbee it out the center. The Wild in desperate need of a change. It's hurried back in by Vegas. Should be an icing call. It's not. He was shy of the red line.
Yeah.
Merrill left side. Skips it ahead. And the savvy hockey crowd here realizing as well, probably should have been ice. Under 3 minutes to go, opening period. Bogosian taps around his M boards. Left wing corner, Foligno deep in his D zone. Had his clearing attempt blocked. Merrill shoves it to the right wing side. Bogosian rips it out the center where Rossi's bottled up immediately. Now Nick Waugh touching it off the board, stolen by Foligno. Drop back for Merrill, and from the left wing boards he'll put it on the tape of Bogosian, who fakes the pass and then refeeds Merrill. Merrill up ice for Zuccarello, stepping over the blue line. Carved it into the cross corner. Marcus Foligno chases to it. But the Golden Knights support well here, and they're able to angle it to center. Brock Faber picks it up, races past the check, and darts over the blue line. Faber handed it back, Zuccarello. Late help coming off the bench, Johansson stops, try to fire one in front. It was blocked down off Brett Howden and is now grabbed by Tanner Pearson, who starts through center. Pearson drives it in, the final 2:05 of the opening period. Brodin rolls it around the boards. Howden bothered Faber, and the Golden Knights stay in business. Faber just lost his stick. He'll go to pick it up as Hague squeezed one in front. Grabbing it, Colasar to the right of Gustafsson. Keegan Colasar bumped by Johansson, able to muscle it free to Pearson. Good puck movement here as it's worked to Pietrangelo. Off to Hague for a shot. That went wide, came off the end wall. Pearson skates to it, side angle chance. Gustafsson the save, and he's on top of it for a whistle.
Yeah, Gus with a good move, pushing from his right to his left to be nice and tall, and that goes down on his knees, but he's got the big body up to the frame and knocks that one down. Grabs onto it. That'll bring the face-off to his immediate left with 1:41 to go here in period number one. Shots right now 12-9 favoring Minnesota, but The only goal was a power play goal and a bad call by the officials. They gave them the power play goal with Rossi and the double minor call early on in period number 1.
So just over 100 seconds left in the opening frame. Eric Sinek has 3 skaters to his right. Middleton, Kaprizov, and Boldy. Only Spurgeon to his left. Eichel takes the draw for Vegas. Eichel with those 2 assists in Game 5 now. 8 points in 6 career Game 5s. Seems to get better as the playoff series move along. As Boldy bats down a shot off the 1 draw by Vegas, it comes along for Kaprizov to churn in from center. Golden Knights quickly whip it back through neutral ice. Eichel to Stone. Mark Stone over the blue line right side. Spun one in front. It ricocheted around. Gustafsson with his goal stick. Jarred it away from trouble. Eric Sinek onto the tape of Boldy. Tried to go back that way. Eichel slowed down that opportunity. And the Wild take back over with Spurgeon. Springing it along. Hacking at a Kaprizov. And that's cut off. And the Golden Knights counter with Karlsson. William Karlsson cuts his way deep into the Wild zone. Brodin leans on him. Coming in to support, Kaprizov took the puck away and flicks it out the center. Final minute of the first. White Cloud at his own right circle. Over to Hanifin. Wild have scored in 13 of the 17 periods in this series coming into this Game 6. That includes 2 overtime sessions as well, which weren't even full frames. So they've done a good job beating Adin Hill consistently. Heading into Game 6, Kaprizov lugs it along. Nearly lost it, then got taken down. And the Wild regroup at center. Here's Brock Faber with 25 seconds to go in the period. Pushing it the way of Merrill as the Wild are in the midst of a change. Merrill stops behind his own net, surveys. He'll let Foligno come back on a flyby as he plucks it along to Zuccarello. Zuccarello hands it to Foligno, chipped in from the neutral zone, cut off by Hanifin. Foligno blocked his clearing attempt, 10 to go in the period. Foligno deep in the Golden Knights zone. Around the net of Hill, right side, spinning and shaking out of the corner. Marcus Foligno centered. Hartman, a shot. He scores! Ryan Hartman with 4 seconds to go in the opening period, and they won't take this one away. It's 1-1 in Game 6.
What a play by Foligno also. The pressure he put on the offensive zone was wonderful at best, and I think you look at it right now, and Hartman's going to get a lot of credit for this one because it's a great goal for him, but the work that Foligno put in, the assistant captain, does a great job of getting that puck in the far corner, as you call it, Joe, just a few seconds to go on the big board, and all of a sudden, it's on the stick of Hartman. He was probably 25 feet out and beat it, and that's what I'm saying. I don't think he's been very strong between the pipes, and that's why you just keep on shooting the puck as much as you can. 4 seconds remaining. It's a tie game.
Huge goal for the Wild. First of the series for Hartman, who had his point streak snapped in Game 5. But we, of course, know about those subplots. Listen to this crowd. Certainly a jolt of life and energy for the home side. They give up the early power play goal. But Tom, I thought you touched on it perfectly, but that was a nothing play at center. The Wild weren't coming through the neutral zone cleanly. Vegas had the puck, and Foligno's work ethic, the reason they got it back.
Right, and you're absolutely right, because of the effort he put into it. But where's Ryan Hartman again? Right near, not too far from the crease area. He's the guy who scored the goal the other night. It was disallowed because of the offside call, but he makes up for it right here also, makes it a 1-1 game.
Coming up at the first intermission, bit of a conversation Kevin Foulness had with Cal Clutterbuck. Longtime member of the Wild, longtime NHLer, former Houston Aero from the AHL days. Cal Clutterbuck and Kevin Foulness prior to Game 5. You'll hear some of that conversation, plus a recap of all the action so far. The Wild won, the Golden Knights won after 20 in Game 6. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Don't miss a moment of baseball season with MLB Network Radio, including daily interviews with the decision makers from across the league on Sirius XM Channel 89.
This is Terry Francona.
This is Rocco Baldelli.
This is Torey Lavillo. This is Ron Washington.
It's Managers at the Mic on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM 89. And if you miss any of our Manager at the Mic interviews throughout the week, you can find them on the Sirius XM app. Search MLB.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
General manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff. What would finishing first overall mean to the organization, Kevin?
Well, I think anytime that, you can finish in an area where you're getting recognized, it's special. But again, the important thing for us is process. Is when we buy into playing the way we need to play, then, we feel comfortable that we'll win more games than not. And then you let the chips fall where they may.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. Under review.
Have wrestled with this one for a while, but I believe we've got our top 5 player of all time. Gretzky, Lemieux, or Howe, and I think it's Sidney Crosby for all-around play. Any discussion, no matter how you slice that loaf of bread, Sidney Crosby's in that discussion. Talk about high-level consistency.
Under review with Mick Kern, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
Liverpool are your 2025 Premier League champions, and no one covered their journey like SiriusXM FC.
This year, they've been absolutely untouchable.
This team was the epitome of a team.
From every big moment
Liverpool with a chance, left foot and it's in! The most dramatic end to this game!
to every major storyline.
Incredible, especially to win it in Anfield is so incredible.
No one brings you closer to the English Premier League than SiriusXM FC. Channel 157 in the car and streaming anytime on the SiriusXM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. The best hockey lives here.
Marks gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The world's most thrilling league is now in the palm of your hand. Hear every English Premier League match all season long on the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favorite team.
Happy holidays from the Minnesota Wild.
There's an entering pass in front. Here's Clutterbuck. He scores! Cal Clutterbuck scores for Minnesota, and the Wild take the lead 1-0. First National Hockey League goal. Somebody went flying over into the Vancouver bench.
I think that may be the Clutterbuck.
Comes Minnesota. Here's a break. Koivu, Clutterbuck, short-handed, he scores! Cal Clutterbuck short-handed for Minnesota. Clutterbuck from Koivu at 8:07 here in the second period.
Former Wild forward Cal Clutterbuck, boy, he'd be right at home in this game. Right now, the Wild and Golden Knights even at a goal apiece through 20 minutes of play, including Ryan Hartman's first of the series with 4 seconds left on the clock. Pulls us even. We're 1-1 through one period here in Game 6. Back to this game in a moment, but want to bring you a conversation from earlier this week with Cal Clutterbuck. Do you remember that name? Of course you do. Drafted by the Wild in the 3rd round back in 2006. Spent a lot of time, 6 seasons in Minnesota. Spent the rest of his career on Long Island playing for the Islanders. But 1,000 games in the NHL and over 4,000 hits. Number 1 on the NHL all-time hit list. Just recently declared he's hanging them up, and he's retiring from the sport of hockey, at least from playing it. Talked about that and more with Cal Clutterbuck earlier this week.
Yeah, it feels great. I always, I will always love my memories in Minnesota. Obviously, they gave me my start, but, what a great place to be as a young kid. I was taken care of so well there. By the fans in the rink and away from the rink. And, I will always look back on my time there with fondness. I try and get my way back there, make my way back there periodically just to go check in on some of my favorite people that I still keep in touch with, and nothing but really awesome memories from that spot.
In that little montage I came out with, it included your first goal in the NHL. I've got all the stats. I didn't remember all the details, but now I know them thanks to looking them up. What do you remember about your first goal in the NHL and how it was scored wearing that Minnesota Wild uniform?
I don't actually know the stats either, but I believe it was from Derek Bugard and Marc-Andre Bergeron. I might be wrong, but I vividly remember the play. I got a puck from the sideboards. I was on the left circle, and I fumbled it for a second, and thought that I had just given up my chance to score my first one, but luckily no one came, so I got a second crack at it. And I think I scored. It was on Jose Theodore, I believe.
I think you're right. It was a 4-3 victory against the Washington Capitals, November 24th, I believe, 2008 it must have been. Right? Does that sound right?
Yeah. That's right.
And you were pretty close on the assist.
I had 2 that game. I had a power play goal later in the game.
You absolutely did, see? Marc-Andre Bergeron, it was a single assist. I'm sure Bugard was on the ice, but apparently didn't get the secondary assist. And then Bernsey and Belanger get the assist on the second goal. So you're pretty dead on. That was pretty close. It was a 4-3 victory. You got a pair of goals, and I'm sure Jacques Lemaire gave you a big pat on the back after that one, after getting your first 2 goals in the NHL.
Well, you know, Jock, I didn't get a pat on the back, but I did get some extra work the next day. But I think I outscored Alex Ovechkin in that game, so that's the one time I did that, I think, in my career. But
valid point.
What a great memory, though. You know, it had taken me a while. I think I'd been there all year. November 24th was late in the season, so it was nice to get the monkey off my back. But yeah, no, it was that was a great night.
I remember talking to you in your early days and the way you played the body, and I was thinking, there's no way this guy's going to make it to the end of the year. And here you are 1,000 games later, Cal. How did you not only survive in the NHL, but play at such a high level at that way? And not only here in Minnesota, but then you took that show to New York and you continued to do it there, grinding year after year, piling up 4,000 hits in the NHL. That's ridiculous.
Well, I loved it. You know, I always loved contact. I'm a very, very competitive person, whether it's board games with my kids or it's golf course stuff or whatever. I hate to lose. I love being competitive. I always tell people, and I told this story a couple times around my 1,000th game because people were asking, but I have a very competitive father. He still gets kicked out of men's league basketball games to this day. So, you know, I come by it honestly. And, you know, for me, I was always kind of built a little different. I'm not as tall as most guys, but I am a pretty thick kid. And my body held up really, really well for a long time. But again, for me, it was always sort of I feel like I had a talent for the timing of it all, and it wasn't really all that hard on me, if I'm being honest. I never really had that many where it hurt all that much, and I think I had a talent for it early, and I think I recognized it, and then you combine that with the competitive nature, and you know, you get what you get. But it was a thrill. I mean, I love doing it. I love being that guy that people, you know, had to keep their head on a swivel for.
That number doesn't surprise you over the course of that career, 2007 to 2024, 4,000 hits combined over that lengthy NHL career. That number doesn't grab you by surprise?
I think once I got to 1,000 games, I did a lot of reflecting for the first time. Once I retired, and I didn't play this year, there was a lot of time for reflection. But while I was in it, it was, you know, it was just my job. And you know, if I'm being honest, you know, I did hear that a lot in my career, that I wasn't going to be able to do it. And I heard it from people outside the game. I heard it from people inside the game. I heard it in contract negotiations. And every time I heard it, I would almost just kind of snicker to myself and be like, they obviously don't know me very well, because this is what I just love to do. So I can't say that I'm surprised. There's always going to be a part of me that's, you know, feels like I probably could have got a couple hundred or maybe 1,000 more, but you know, I decided to call it when I called it. And like I said, I love going out there and giving people a show. You know, I think it's one of those things, especially in the game today, that has disappeared quite a bit. And in the game in 2007, 2008 was a little different than it is, you know, in 24, 25. But that being said, you're watching the NHL playoffs right now, just like I am, and those hits are everywhere. And, I laugh about all the discussions about whether they're clean or not, or there's primary contact to the head. Back in those days, it really didn't matter. As long as you didn't hit somebody when the puck wasn't within 40 feet, or you didn't hit them from behind, it was kind of like everything goes. And, I benefited from that for sure. But you could see the impact that it has on games, and especially when come crunch time in the playoffs, it's important.
The former number 22, Cal Clutterbuck, he would fit right in here in this hockey game. You want to hear the rest of that conversation? Wild.com/Pondcast. 1-1 after 1. A full recap is next. This is Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
Take the leap. Make a splash. You want to keep up with your granddaughter. After all, she keeps you young. And a sore knee, back, or shoulder doesn't have to take that away. At TRIA, our physical therapists will help you treat whatever's holding you back. We use the latest therapy techniques and equipment to decrease pain and accelerate healing. With TRIA by your side, your body can do amazing things. Visit TRIA.com to make an appointment.
Minnesota Wild Stanley Cup playoff memories.
4 times in franchise history, the Wild have won Game 6 in a playoff series to force a Game 7. The first time, and maybe most memorable, was in 2003.
Back come the Wild. Here's Park, right side. Park, scores! Richard Park has scored in overtime, and the Wild will advance to game number 7. Park in overtime at 4:22. There will be a 7th game. Pack your bags. Here we go.
Also did it to the Canucks in the next round, both times rallying from 3-1 series deficits. They got the Avalanche again, Game 6 in 2014. Then in 2021, they beat the Vegas Golden Knights with a 3-0 win in Game 6. That sent the series back to Las Vegas.
This has been another Minnesota Wild Stanley Cup playoff memory. Hopefully more great memories are still to come in 2025. Buckle up for an unforgettable night when Rick Springfield brings the I Want My 80s tour to Treasure Island Resort and Casino. Relive the 80s with Jesse's Girl, Don't Talk to Strangers, and other Springfield classics, as well as hits from special guests John Waite, Wang Chung, and Paul Young. Come ready to rock when this all-star lineup hits the Treasure Island Amphitheater on Thursday, June 19th. Get your tickets at TICasino.com.
Wild fans, score up to $2,600 in tax credits when you upgrade your home comfort system by purchasing a qualifying Bryant Evolution heating and cooling system. And with a 10-year replacement warranty from Bryant, you'll have peace of mind for a decade. Contact your local Bryant dealer and ask about tax credits, local rebates, and financing available for qualified buyers. Visit Bryant.com for more details. Bryant, whatever it takes, official heating and cooling company of the Minnesota Wild.
Wake up at 5. Lace up their skates. You want to see them win state. After all, that's all your kid dreams about. And a strain, sprain, or break doesn't have to take that away. TRIA Orthopedic Urgent Care is here for them 7 days a week with no appointment needed. And with Save My Spot, you can reserve your place in line and show up closer to check-in time. With TRIA by your side, your body can do amazing things. Visit TRIA.com/SaveMySpot to learn more.
From the very beginning, Minnesota Wild fans have been the heartbeat of this team.
Here's Gabrick, he shoots, scores! Gabrick with 5 goals tonight.
Year 25 will bring memories that'll last you a lifetime. Be there when it matters most.
Off the end wall, Kaprizov scores! Oh, what a shot!
Be forever Wild. Learn more at wild.com/forever.
So, after you lift weights, your body keeps burning calories for hours post-workout.
Oh, like a BMO Savings Builder account.
What?
With BMO, I can get a reward every month I save.
So, you're getting an extra reward for the work you've already done?
Exactly. Plus, BMO gave me a cash bonus when I opened a checking account.
That's a flex.
This is a flex. Check out these pythons.
Pump up your savings with BMO. Conditions apply. Learn more at BMO.com/kickstart. Accounts are subject to approval and are provided in the United States by BMO Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
BMO.
Incubus live.
Nice to know you.
performing the album Morning View in its entirety, plus the hits. Saturday, July 5th, the Treasure Island Amphitheater. With special guest Manchester Orchestra. On sale now at TICasino.com. Don't miss Incubus performing Morning View in its entirety, plus the hits.
Volatility. Everyone's feeling it, and that's why more and more people are tapping Chris Lindahl Real Estate's Guaranteed Cash Offer program. We helped a record number of people last month, and this month is looking even better. The reason is simple. When you gamble by listing your house on the open market, there's no guarantee anyone will buy it, and other cash buyers don't call their offers guaranteed. The answer to volatility is a guarantee, and only a Guaranteed Cash Offer is guaranteed to get you to the next chapter of your life. Get yours today at chrislindahl.com.
Terms and conditions apply.
Second period. The score 1-1. Joe O'Donnell, Tom Reed with you. Wild from left to right on your radio dial. In the second, Golden Knights from right to left. Tom, can the Wild build off that late period, opening period momentum?
Absolutely they can. That was a big plus for them. And what a nice shot by, when you look at Hartman, what he's brought to the table here. But what a play by Foligno also. Just being aggressive on the puck until he hears a horn. Never went in time for Vegas, and Minnesota's able to capitalize on it.
Boldy picks up a loose puck, digs it along. It's Kaprizov bursting in left side as we're underway in the second. Real Kaprizov from below the goal line. Around behind the net, Boldy. Boldy centers. A drive by Spurgeon is caught by Aiden Hill.
Good play. Minnesota's got the legs once again starting the second period. You always wonder how a team's going to come out, but once again, Spurgeon with a good shot, being a right-handed shot on that side, takes the shot, and play by Kaprizov also and Boldy to get the puck in the offensive zone. 29 seconds gone. Both teams making wholesale player changes on the ice. Quick shifts. Get off. Get your strength back and get ready to get back on the ice.
Hartman and Hurdle on the draw. The Wild won 79% of the faceoffs in the opening period. Tom Reed was so excited when he saw it, he couldn't wait to tell me.
He did. And I thought somebody made a mistake. How about Eriksson? What did he win? 14 out of 15 or something? Yeah.
Colasar to Hurdle. Hurdle charges in. Late help coming, but his pass tips and ricochets into the Golden Knights player bench. So 47 seconds expired in the second period. The shots were 13-8 Minnesota in a 1-1 game.
Yeah, that first period, you look at the draws. Minnesota certainly the champions in that one, 79%, but Eriksson won 8 out of 9, 89%. And that's a positive. So right now, keep it positive. Fans are, I think, enjoying what they're seeing right now, especially at the end of that first period, and see what can happen in period number 2.
Draw to the right of Gustafson, won by Minnesota. Hartman to Middleton. He'll spin it around the boards. And too much on that offering. An icing call here.
Too much spin, but they won the draw again. That was a play. What Middleton was trying to do is just put it along the boards and have the winger on the far side skate into it, but he put too much power into it, so it kept on going before anyone could get over there.
Hartman and Hurdle again on the draw. Again, it's to the right of Gustafson. Again, Hartman wins it. Again, Middleton tries to rim around. This time it's perfectly placed. Foligno spun, got knocked down, one-handed, and a head penalty call coming. Zuccarello, rink wide. The Wild are offside, but they're going to head to a power play.
And it's going to be a tripping once again. Foligno's right in the middle of it. He's causing it.
Yes, number 14, minor penalty for tripping.
So that's going to be Nicholas Haig is going to go to the penalty box on that one. Minnesota goes on their second power play of this hockey game.
All right, Tom, my estimation was correct that the Golden Knights turned up the heat, turned up the pressure in the first power play, maybe more so than the rest of the series. Again, just what I saw, my reaction. You know the Wild talked about it either on the bench or in intermission if that was the case.
Yeah, I believe they did turn up the heat. There's no question on it. We'll see if they do it here with the second situation where they're shorthanded.
Eichel and Eriksson on the draw to the right of Aiden Hill. A tie-up. Eriksson bats it free for a moment.
Now Kaprizov trying to stab it along. Zuccarello gloved it down, played it in the corner. Kaprizov went between the legs, back to Zuccarello, rimmed around for Boldy right side. Bothered immediately by Carlson. It comes down below the goal line. Boldy supported, spun it up top for Spurgeon. Jared Spurgeon across the blue line, pivots, hands it to Kaprizov, left circle, dancing down low, back to center point for Spurgeon. Takes a look, wheels to his right, connected with Boldy at the dot. Matt Boldy, right wing wall. Fired one in front, deflected wide. Kaprizov to the carom. Aerial pass, rink wide, Boldy off the right wing boards, pressured. Baited some more white jerseys near his way, and then found Eriksson Ek, and up top it comes. Kaprizov left circle, shooting one, Hill the blocker save. Kaprizov to his own rebound. Churned it around the boards, Boldy gathers. Matt Boldy protects at the hash marks right side, stops, takes a look, faked the pass to Spurgeon, fired one for a tip, and a kick save by Hill. And then McNabb drilled Eriksson Ek from behind, but Zuccarello dug the puck free. Spurgeon to Kaprizov, left side, a shot, a clean look, but Hill the save.
Boy, Minnesota doing a nice job of those passes also, with a lot of authority also, going tape to tape, getting those shots, putting themselves in a position with good shots coming in the offensive zone. Hill talking to the referee right now is trying to get a little bit of a rest. He's back and forth because Minnesota's done a good job of moving that puck, and he's got to go back and forth following the path that the puck is taking. Still 57 seconds with the man advantage.
The Wild in this series through 5 games have averaged 24.4 shots. 2 of those games have included some overtime. They have 16 here early in the second of Game 6, a must-win for Minnesota. Off the draw, they came up with it for a moment, and now White Cloud spins it up the boards, didn't get it out. Eriksson Ek to the point, Spurgeon loads, fakes a blast, and wristed one. It ricocheted around. Waugh tipped it away from trouble. Waugh in his own left wing corner, pressured by Boldy. The Wild swarming here, trying to win this puck battle. Eriksson Ek and Waugh. Eriksson Ek knocked it up top, Spurgeon across the blue line, filtered it left side, Zuccarello, fired in front for Eriksson Ek at the back post, and it just couldn't be connected cleanly. Boldy holds in, 20 to go on the power play. He spun it around the end wall, Zuccarello back in the net, hoping for Eriksson Ek. Fought through a hold of Hannafin, snatched it up top, Boldy, feeding Spurgeon, tapped along left wing, hash mark Zuccarello. Power play at 10 seconds, Matt Zuccarello, down low, Kaprizov, a backhander in tight, and Hill the save.
Well, good movement. Once again, you look at Minnesota, and they've really got their heads up. And watch Boldy, how strong he is in the puck. He gets in a situation, Joe, where he's got those quick hands, but he can see what's going on around him also at the same time. Makes those passes. The guys right now, the shots have Minnesota in the lead in that department, 17-8 here in the early moments of period number 2. 17:03 remaining in the second period. It's a 1-1 game.
Hartman and Howden on the draw to the right of Hill. Power play down to 7 seconds. So the Wild have to be careful with Haig about to jump out.
Well, 7 seconds, about how much time was on the clock when Minnesota scored their first goal. So,
Hartman now thrown from the circle. Johansson in to take it. Still Howden in there for the visitors. A tie-up. Johansson pried it away with the help of Hartman. It is Faber to Hartman, left circle. Spun off a check. Ryan Hartman from the goal line. Came out in front, tried to go short side. Hill made the save. Out of the box is Haig. Hartman to his own rebound. Left circle, a shot. This time trying to go far side high. And Aiden Hill snatches out with his glove.
Boy, Hill's getting peppered right now. And you can see that Minnesota certainly has a little bit of an edge here early on here in period number 2. Shots 18-8. 1-1 game. And the face-off, I believe, is going to be to the right of Aiden Hill.
The Wild power play 0 for 2. However, Tom, can they build some momentum off that last chance?
Absolutely they can, because of the fact they've had chances. I mean, if you're not getting shots to the net, then you're beginning to wonder. But Minnesota's done a good job getting shots to the net. They've had 4 shots so far in the 2 power plays they've had.
And the top line, they got a little bit of a breather there at the end of the power play, right back out for Minnesota. Eichel on the draw for Vegas. Off the face-off, it's fed to the point Faber. Left wing corner, Kaprizov threw one in front for a tip by Boldy. He was knocked down. Hill made the save. Boldy then from his backside pushed the rebound wide. Hill's mask comes off and an immediate halt to play. So a couple games back, he knocked his net off a couple of times. This time his mask comes off. Not saying there was foul play there, but just wondering.
Wouldn't be the first goaltender to do that, would it? Who, me?
In your day, Tom, they didn't wear them.
No,
so
didn't have to worry about that, did we? Does it show?
Another look, Boldy being knocked down. And I'm not sure at what point that mask came dislodged.
Yeah, Hill's having a problem with it right now.
Oh, it was a shot, the deflection by Boldy from the goal crease. It came up and hit Hill on his mask, and then he shook it off, realizing the strap had popped in the back. And goaltenders often do that, especially when a team is buzzing like the Wild were. Eriksson and Carlson on the draw. This time it's in left of Hill. Off the face-off, it rattles to the slot. Twisting it free, Kaprizov. A shot by Faber, and it tipped wide off a body in front. Boldy centers. Eriksson spun one blindly. It'll leak across the slot. Wild still pressuring here after that power play came up empty. Boldy back of the net check. Right wing corner, Mark Stone just flicks it ahead safely through center. Eichel and Brodin in a foot race. Brodin had the better angle. Will get to it first. Cuts around the net of Gustafsson. And then worked it around the left wing boards, where it's partially broken up. Kaprizov on a second effort stuffed it through center. Shea Theodore D-to-D for Braden McNabb, the former Buffalo Sabres draft pick, with a bouncer from center, and Gustafsson with pressure coming his way pulls it underneath him.
Yeah, Eichel was coming right in there, and it was bouncing a little bit, so Gustafsson did the right thing, and that's just grab onto that puck. Well, wanting on the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs? Lock in your seat by becoming a season ticket member. Enjoy exclusive pricing and get rewarded for being a part of the Wild family. We're here to help. Text or call forever to 651-222-9453 today.
Brock Faber just kind of shaking his head, and probably a bit of disgust there on the Wild bench after he had a clean look from the inner half of the left circle. The circle to the right of Adin Hill, and Mark Stone reached out and tipped that shot high and wide. Saad wins this faceoff back. Pietrangelo to Haig. He fanned on a one-timer. Was able to label it deeper, though. Middleton cuts it off for the Wild and charges up ice. Jake Middleton in the Vegas Golden Knights zone. Rimmed it around the board. Zuccarello right circle. Spun off a check center. Foligno ran into his own man, Middleton. Heavy collision there between two big bodies, and both get up slowly, and the Golden Knights attack here. Hurdle. Poke check partially by Spurgeon. Fed it along, though. Back along for Haig. Shot blocked by Spurgeon. Rebound for Hurdle. And it went wide. Jammed back in front. And the Wild find it. Clear down. Boy, Spurgeon saved a goal after he slowed down that rush initially.
I'd look and see what number that was, and that was Spurgeon. Got right in front of it.
And that was after Minnesota thought they had something going with Middleton and Foligno in the low slot. With the big defenseman down there, the two players collided. Let's hope they're both okay. Minnesota regroups here. Bogosian shoves it ahead. Icing waved off. Rossi, the first man on the scene. Marco Rossi, left side offensive zone. Spun it around the end boards. Foligno gathers. Churned off a hit. Had it tipped free off his tape. Grabbing it, Rossi trying to hold the zone. The Golden Knights steer it to center, where Bogosian finds Justin Brazeau for a chip and chase. Brazeau races in against Haig. He was able to dislodge the puck, so Rossi will get to it right side. Rossi then run into the glass, and Saad finds Colasar, who comes through the neutral zone, rifling one in. Glove down by Gustafsson and left for Bogosian, who goes D-to-D for Merrill. Snapped it off the left wing dasher. That hit a player on the Golden Knights bench, and so a whistle here.
And that'll bring the face-off. I believe it's going to be outside Minnesota's defensive zone.
Officials are going to talk about it, and put the face-off at center. I think some of the fans thinking that had to be some type of illegal play. Too many men on the ice because of where that puck deflected. We get another look on the TV side, and boy, Middleton and Foligno really...
two big bodies.
Smashed into one another. So 14:36 to go in the second period. The Wild doubling up the Golden Knights in shots, 18-9. But Game 6 is tied 1-1 here in St. Paul. Again, the Wild from left to right on your radio dial in the second. Rossi muscled the draw to Trenyon. Tap back to Merrill. D-to-D pass right side. Bogosian hacks it ahead. And it's deflected in by Brazeau. And that left the playing surface. And now a neutralized draw coming up again with about 5.5 played in the second.
Well, stay up to date with all things Wild, including game content, watch parties, playoff tickets, and much more. Be in on the action today at wild.com/playoff central.
Put the draw at the center ice dot, and Howden now escorted from the circle. And it'll be Rossi to deal with Barbashev. Barbashev won it cleanly. Zach Whitecloud skates a few strides. Launches it in as Trenyon ran into him. It's sent around the right wing boards. Brazeau tipped up, not out. Golden Knights hack it behind the cage of Gustafsson. Merrill fanned on his opportunity to clear. Centering pass, though, stolen by Trenyon, who came to the low slot to pick it off. A rumble ahead and flop it in right wing boards. Whitecloud and Trenyon after it. White Cloud lost his stick, but sprung it along for Riley Smith, who gains the center line and turns it into the Wild zone, where Bogosian hacks it around, hoping for Faber fresh off the Wild bench. Now Mark Stone had a tap free. Brazo hands to Rossi in a 2-on-2, Minnesota through the neutral zone. Rossi and Brazo crisscross. Rossi paddles it in. Minnesota changing on the fly here. Stone on a right wing breakout to Howden. Try to go back to Stone, broken up by Kaprizov. Bouncing puck at center. Touchback by Vegas for the control of Brady McNabb, who connects with Shea Theodore up ice, right wing boards for Eichel. Eichel leaned on by Eriksson Ek. Over to help out as well was Brodin. Those two converge. The Wild end up with the puck, and now Kaprizov grabbing a loose puck right wing side, able to just throw it through center. It deflects in. Hill will try to swallow it up, and he will, with Boldy bearing in. And we've got our first stoppage of period 2.
Yeah, good play by Hill also, just grabbing onto that puck because Boldy was coming in sniffing for that free puck. There was none to be had.
I thought we'd have the TV timeout, but because Hill handled that puck that came from the other half of the red line and gets a whistle, we will not take the first TV timeout of the second. So 13-19 to go. Second period action of Game 6. The game tied at 1. Best of 7 favoring the Golden Knights 3-2. Eichel and Eriksson Ek on the draw to the right of Hill. Golden Knights with just one shot in this period, and it came from center ice. Here's William Karlsson trying to change that, lugging it in. Brodin watching him. Karlsson at the left wing corner near the goal line. Stopped. Found Stone. Stone feeds to point McNabb. McNabb filtered it down back of the net. Brodin and Karlsson come together. And now Jack Eichel, watched carefully by Faber. Faber took Eichel off the puck, and he did so by taking a penalty.
That's going to be a holding call. Not very happy, obviously. Faber gents.
Minnesota number 7, minor penalty for holding.
Yeah, staying with a guy like Eichel is very difficult to begin with, so penalty is called.
Crowd hasn't even seen a replay yet, and they already don't like it. Go figure. 12:54 to go in the second. The Wild will be shorthanded. We come back. They are controlling the play in the second, but it's still 1-1. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
It's been an American tradition for more than 150 years.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby.
And you can hear the Run for the Roses on Sirius XM.
Coming down to the wire. Who's it going to be? Oh, it's the photo of the Derby.
Join us Saturday at 10 Eastern for Down the Stretch with Dave Johnson. Then at 2, Steve Bick is live at Churchill Downs for the pre-race show. And at 5 Eastern, hear the 151st Kentucky Derby on NBC Sports Radio Channel 85 in the car and the Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
December 15th, Vancouver Canucks were in the playoffs. And this is when they had that big controversy going on. So they had to do something about it. And they did do something about it. Well, now they're not in the playoffs. You know what? They're not even really close anymore. This is the most absurd season falling apart. The most disappointing team this season of the 32 are the Vancouver Canucks.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. The world's most thrilling league is now in the palm of your hand. Hear every English Premier League match all season long on the Sirius XM app. Just search for your favourite team.
And a power play opportunity for the Vegas Golden Knights as Faber goes in the penalty box, being called for the hold on Eichel. 12:54 remaining in the second period. It's 1-1 right now. Minnesota in the lead in the shooting department, 18-9.
Eriksson Ek won the draw back, and Middleton forced it along Boldy. Quick hands, left wing dasher, sends it down the ice. So the Golden Knights power play from right to left on your radio dial with Shea Theodore sliding it back for Eichel, lugs it ahead. Eichel watched by Eriksson Ek, hit the offensive blue line, pushed it to the right wing board. Stone deep in the Wild zone. Up top now, Theodore has the Golden Knights power play tally in Game 6. Eichel left wing hash marks back to center point. Theodore watched by Eriksson Ek. Shoved back to Eichel, top left circle, down low. A centering feed by Stone for Theodore, and he hammered it just wide. Eichel off the carom, back down low for Stone. Stone danced out in front, Gustafsson a left pad save. Rebound not cleared. Eichel left wing corner, just above the goal line. Eichel dances towards the dot. Try to shake one down low. Broken up, Eriksson Ek just got it out the center.
Just get it out of the zone. Good play by Eriksson Ek once again.
Middleton thought he was slashed there as that puck found him right before it came to Eriksson Ek. Golden Knights re-attack Hurdle, muscling it along. Eichel back to Hurdle, now center point Theodore. Handed off left wing side for Eichel. 55 to go in the power play center. That pass broken up, and Eriksson Ek able to drive it down.
Eriksson Ek, I mean, he is so much bigger in the top part of his body. Also, Joe, in the last couple of years, so much stronger and does a terrific job.
42 seconds to go in the power play as Theodore skates ahead. Fed it back for Eichel. Eichel slowly along, hit the offensive blue line, worked at left wing point. Carlson, there, Barbashev in front, a backhanded shot, kicked away, rebound, jab wide by Barbashev on the flyby. Ivan Barbashev to his own rebound, turns it up top for Hanifin. Hanifin skates along, feeds Eichel, back to Hanifin at center point, shooting one, it was blocked out in front. Barbashev regathered, got it to Eichel, stripped by Freddie Gaudreau, fights it out to center, deals with Hanifin, does Gaudreau, and Gaudreau able to win the war and muscle it in.
Good effort by Freddie Gaudreau. That's one of his strengths. Is on the PK. Loves to be out there.
Wild out of the woods in 7 seconds as Hanifin lugs it along. Fed it right side. Pietrangelo tipped it into the stands. And the Wild are 2 seconds away from killing it off with a neutral ice draw coming up. And again, the crowd rises.
Yeah, absolutely. Recognizing the effort put on by Minnesota here right now, and deservedly so. 10:56 to go here. We're almost at the halfway point of this hockey game. And it's a 1-1 game. 2 goals Theodore scores for the Vegas Golden Knights. And that's Hartman scoring with 4 seconds remaining in that first period to give Minnesota the tie, with Foligno making the big assist on that one.
Rossi and Brett Howden on the center ice draw. Faber standing in the home penalty box. 10:56 to go, second period of Game 6. Rossi won it back. Merrill buys some time. Hooks it along through center. No icing here. Drilled around by the Golden Knights. They'll pick it up with Tanner Pearson trying to get around Merrill. Right side Pearson, a backhanded shot. Gustafsson kicked out a big rebound. Marcus Johansson grabs it and springs it rink wide. Rossi handled it well, stepped over the blue line, and knuckled it down low for Nyquist to try and chase to. Pietrangelo churned it around. Cut off by Johansson. High slot Johansson feeding Merrill. Merrill spun. Nudged it in the corner for Nyquist. Nyquist centers. Johansson open up top. Faber a shot, and he just missed high and wide. Brett Howden the other way for Vegas. Fires it in from the red line. A bouncer off the end wall. Merrill back to reverse. Faber quickly chisels it free. Marcus Johansson waits, then goes rink wide to the weak side to John Merrill. Gallops along, crosses the blue line, and fires it around the end wall. Or Nyquist outside the right circle. Turned to his forehand and was stripped by Carlson. Spurgeon stares him down. William Carlson in, and it was poked away by Spurgeon.
Yeah, good stick by Spurgeon once again.
Wild don't clear. Theodore across the blue line, fires one. It tipped off Spurgeon and ended up out of play.
That's into the net. 9:44 to go here, and we have another TV timeout.
We are halfway through regulation in game number 6. The Wild and the Golden Knights are tied at 1. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
As a business leader, every day brings countless decisions. Some big, some small, some easy, and some you need to sleep on. Work with a banker who gets you, gets your business, and can help you make the right decisions to meet your goals. So you're not just navigating between choices, you're planning your success. Work with Bremer Bank, because understanding is everything. Put us to work for you today at bremer.com.
Steel deals are happening now. From instant savings on select tools to free battery offers on some of our most popular battery tool sets. You can enjoy great deals and do it all with Steel. Shop online or in store at your local Steel dealer. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
Stanley Cup scoreboard.
Game 6 is total, including in Ottawa. Maple Leafs lead that best-of-7 series 3-2, and they're up 2-1, just starting the third period of play. Maple Leafs win. The Senators are done. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Here's Letang. Waits, lets it go, and he missed the target. Draisaitl back the other way for the winners. Draisaitl scores!
Stars are trying to close out the Avalanche. They'll drop the puck on that one in about a half hour. Kings are trying to stay alive against the Oilers. They'll drop the puck on that one in Edmonton about an hour from now. Back to Joe and Tom.
Yeah, guys, there have been some really good games all playoff long here. This has been a fun year. I think a lot of these teams are very evenly matched. These two teams in the ice certainly are right now, and they're still tied up at 1 apiece, but the shots are 18-12 in favor of the home team, that being the Wild.
This 2025 opening round Stanley Cup playoff has had 11 plus overtime games across the various series. Fourth time in 10 years where that's been the case. And today, or tonight I should say, 4 teams trying to stave off elimination. That's sort of rarefied air. It did happen, though, last year as well. As a point shot here by the Golden Knights to flex wide. They'll skate to it, coming out wide turned, and Faber tipped his shot wide. Riley Smith worked it to the point. They go D to D. Hannafin a drive, caught by Gustafson. Just to finish that thought, last year Toronto and Nashville won to stay alive on a date where 4 teams were facing elimination. In 1992, all 4 teams stayed alive in a similar spot. The old Hartford Whalers, the Sabres, the Devils, and the Penguins, all in 1992. 4 teams facing elimination the same day, 4 stayed alive.
I thought that was 93.
I know you did, and that's why I fact-checked it. Has the league consulted you on these things, Tom? You know, when they print something that says 1992, they email you first and say, do you remember that?
Not in the 50 years I've been doing this.
Oh.
Well, there's always a first, though. I'm waiting.
I know. Exactly my point. Still time. Nyquist shot out of a cannon off the 1 D-zone draw. He'll flop it in. Pietrangelo around his own net, ended up in a heat. Nyquist to the loose puck. It's batted down low. Here's Keegan Colasar. He was swarmed by the Wild pressure. Pietrangelo just angles it ahead, intercepted by Spurgeon. Wheeled back through the neutral zone and then lost it to Saad. Saad trying to center for Hurdle. It kicked off the dasher. Colasar skates to it. Middleton lost his stick coming together with Hurdle. It's kind of in no man's land. Middleton now to race and grab his stick as it's thrown up top for Pietrangelo, who stops, rolls it to Haig. Haig faked the drive, then banked it off the end wall. It kicked crazily off the dasher, and Gustafson lost his stick over his right shoulder. Gustafson doesn't know his stick's right nearby, I don't think, but Spurgeon able to relieve some pressure, clearing ahead.
He's got his stick now.
Golden Knights come back with Alex Pietrangelo. The 4th most Stanley Cup career playoff games by an active defenseman. And a 2-time Stanley Cup champ. Now the Wild in business after the Golden Knights. Not much for that neutral zone transition. Boldy bats in on the offensive blue line left side. Back to gather is McNabb. McNabb a right wing pass. Carlson fanned on his feet. Eriksson Ek trying to come up with it. Those two continue to battle. It's lobbed free for a moment. Kaprizov skates to it. Carlson picked his pocket. Carlson now flexing a backhander Stone, who has Eichel. Left wing boards, Eichel charging in. Faber trying to stay with him. Eichel jammed on the brakes, left it up top. McNabb a shot. Knocked away by Gustafson. The rebound tied up in some equipment. It got up into the gear of Eriksson Ek and never fell back to the ice. So a whistle.
Yeah, big shot by McNabb coming from that left point position also. And a bunch of bodies in front. The equipment got in the way of that puck being dropped to the ice. So the whistle goes, and that'll keep the faceoff deep in the Minnesota's zone. Well, stay informed on your Minnesota Wild. Receive the latest team updates, the news, and much more, all delivered directly to you. Sign up at wild.com/stay connected.
Draw coming to the right of Philip Gustafson. Hartman and Howden on it. Hartman now escorted from the dot. So Trenyon in to take it against Brett Howden, who is 2-game winners in this series. And his 2nd career overtime goal in the playoffs in Game 5. His previous one, the Western Conference Final in 2023, game number 1, and now Howden thrown from the circle. So Pearson and Trenyon, a couple of replacements in there. Trenyon helped muscle it back, and Hartman scales it ahead. McNabb bounces it right back out to the neutral zone. Brett Howden closed on and stripped to the puck for a moment by Trenyon. Victor Olofsson got it back. 370 regular season career games for Olofsson before his playoff debut here this year in Game 1. Nothing there for the Vegas Golden Knights. The Wild counter. Bogosian leading the rush. Left it back for Brazzo to rim back of the net for Yakov Trenyon. Trenyon steering it to the right point. Zach Bogosian. Bogosian feeds it to Rossi on the pop-out play. Now activating Merrill. Left side a shot glance wide. Bogosian trying to keep the bouncing puck in. Could not. We'll have to regather at center. and churn it along to Rossi, covering back for Merrill, who had pinched in. Rossi winds it along Zuccarello. Snaps it to Bogosian. Zach Bogosian carries in. Flied into open ice. Rossi chased to it. Bounced it back up top looking for Bogosian. That took a crazy carom, and the Golden Knights counter here was Saad. Stared down by Faber. Brandon Saad pinned up by Faber. Nudged it free for Kolasar. Kolasar hounded by Rossi. Keegan Kolasar centering. Hurdle up top. They go D to D. Hanifin fakes a drive. Noah Hanifin activating here. Tried to center, and Foligno got his skates in that lane. Zuccarello to the loose puck. Sprung it along for Rossi, and the Wild have a 3-on-3. Rossi at the end of his shift just rims it in. Foligno stashed it right back around the end wall. Rossi right wing corner to Zuccarello. Interchanging there with Foligno. The puck ricochets out the center. Just over 6 minutes left in the second. 1-1 our score in Game 6. Back in on side comes Foligno. Dropped it off Zuccarello. Left wing wall. Looked for Foligno on a return pass. Glanced off his skates. Hurdle lofts it ahead as Faber was pinching in. Jonas Brodin to Ryan Hartman, who has the Wild tally here in Game 6. Hartman through center. Ran over Hurdle. As it's fired in for Foligno. Dancing past trouble. Handed off Zuccarello. A shot. It was blocked. Zuccarello diving, trying to poke it home. And it never got through. Barbashev knocks it the other way. Spurgeon, right side in his own zone, pounded it through the neutral ice area. Zuccarello stashed it in, knocked down by Hanifin with his glove. Next touch by Barbashev, but inside his D zone, that's a legal play. Golden Knights can't get through center ice cleanly. It's a break the other way. Johansson whips the rope, charging in right side. Took a shot. Hill made the save, just getting barely enough of it with his glove.
Yeah, good effort by Johansson, though. Got the shot away, being on the right side of the left-hand shot.
Well, it's the third time in this series I can remember Johansson's had a clean look off the rush, and Hill has not handled any of them cleanly, but held them all out, including one in Game 5 that just squeezed wide. Back is McNabb on a dumped-in puck. Johansson bumps in. Hanifin shoves it along. Stone tip free. William Karlsson flies it in on his backhand. That forces Brodin to turn and chase with 5 minutes left in the second. Along it comes for Faber. Right wing corner. Defensive zone. Got it up, not out. Theodore pinched in. Back behind his own net. Faber once more. This time wrestled to the glass by Eichel. Karlsson dug it loose. William Karlsson got it high for Petrangelo's shot that missiled well wide. Kicks loose for Kaprizov to carry the Wild through center. Kirill Kaprizov dances it in from the neutral zone. Hill out with his goal stick. Off to Petrangelo. Hill put in the wheelhouse of Eichel. Nearly lost it. Got it back. And now to Karlsson. Back off to Eichel. Watched by Merrill. Jack Eichel in with a shot. Shoulder save. Gustafsson flexing that out of play. .427 left in the second. 1-1 in Game 6. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
No matter who you are or what you do, there's a Ford vehicle that can help you own the day. Make life on the go a walk in the park with the new Ford Explorer. Become the MVP of the work site with the unrivaled performance of a new built Ford Tough F-Series truck, the best-selling trucks in America. Or discover what it really means to adventure in the great outdoors with the new Bronco Sport. Whether it's for work or play, there's a Ford with a great deal waiting at your local Northland Ford dealers. Don't wait. Get behind the wheel of a new Ford today. Based on calendar year total sales.
Two bands, one night. Bachman Turner Overdrive. The Marshall Tucker Band. Roll on down the Highway 2025 tour. Saturday, July 19th, live at the Treasure Island Amphitheater with special guest Jefferson Starship. A night of vintage PTO. A night of classic Marshall Tucker Band. Tickets on sale now at TICasino.com.
Hey, Minnesota Wild fans, fuel up for game day with Just Bear Chicken, the official chicken of the Wild. At Just Bear Chicken, we believe the best meals start with the best ingredients. That is why all our chickens are raised with no antibiotics ever, so you can enjoy delicious and nutritious chicken with confidence. Find Just Bear Chicken in the fresh or frozen aisle at your local grocery store today. And let's go wild.
The second period as we talk the Wild, the NHL, and Stanley Cup playoffs. Get involved in the conversation. Texting your comments at 64686, and one random listener could win dinner at Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub.
4:27 left in the second period. Draw to the left of Gustafsson. The game tied at 1. Eichel and Eriksson Ek on the draw. Eriksson Ek guides it back. Left side, Berdine shoots through center. Boldy into the wheelhouse of Kaprizov. He'll bounce it in as McNabb ran into him. Back as Theodore had some trouble with it. Boldy right wing corner trying to come up with it. He did. Now Kaprizov rolling it to the point favor. High slot area. Wristing one. It tipped wide in front. Getting to it. Theodore carved it along for Stone. His pass swiped away by Kaprizov. Boldy trying to work it back that way. He did. Left wing point. It is Kaprizov whipping it down low. Pinching in favor. Carlson tried to tip it free for Eichel. McNabb rescues the loose puck out at the Stone into open ice. Look out, it's Eichel. He's got room. Jack Eichel in. Took a shot. He scores. His first of the series. And a deflating one, to say the least. The Golden Knights back in front 2-1.
Boys, that ever. Minnesota's working so hard, and Eichel is one of those guys that you know with something's going to break for him, as you call it, Joe. His first goal of the playoff series, but it started just in the center ice area where Minnesota had the puck initially. But Eichel came in. He was able to pick that one up. You see the guys just reaching, trying to get to that puck. Couldn't do so. I believe that was 97. Kaprizov just not tall enough to have the extra couple inches on that stick to make over. Eichel makes it work for his team and brings his team in the lead by one with 3:48 remaining here in the second period.
And Eichel had Carlson with him, so Berdine took him. Closest player he could, and Eichel just beat Gustafsson low glove. It was a diving attempt by Kaprizov, just couldn't come up with it. As Stone threw it into open ice. Foligno trying to get it right back. Rumbles in on the forecheck. Pietrangelo slowed him down. Nice check by Zuccarello in the corner. As the Golden Knights get it to Pearson. Poked out the center and turned over. Merrill onto the tape of Hartman. Coming back in left wing side, Ryan Hartman. A side angle shot hit the outside of the net. Nick Hague now. Winding it along. It got past Bogosian and out the center. Pearson follows it up. 3-on-3 for the Golden Knights. Tanner Pearson tried to center it. Pinballs around and it's knocked away by Minnesota. Yakov Trenyan to it. With 3 minutes to go in the second. He'll weave it off the right wing boards. Hartman trying to tip in. Hartman turns and offers it back of the net. Hill with his goal stick pressure. Trenyan stole it. Centered. Oh, and Brazo tried to one-time it. Hartman now. Right wing side. Spun it to a vacated point. Boy, Hill was down and out. Spurgeon on a regroup to Middleton. Sliced along, hoping for Brazo. It bounces into the Golden Knights zone. Scurrying to it, Whitecloud. Pressured. Turned it over. Trenyan right circle. Couldn't step free in front. Riley Smith able to poke it free. Whitecloud left side. Squeezes it to Barbashev. Middle of the ice pass. Riley Smith with a wrister blocked. Whacking at it, Barbashev. Grabbed by Middleton and scurried ahead out through center. Noah Hannafin D-to-D. Whitecloud. Chopped it along for Nick Waugh. And Trenyan finishes it on Whitecloud with some absolute intensity on that collision.
Well, the helmet came off, no question about it. I'm not sure if there's anything in the helmet when it came off.
Here is Middleton now skating the Wild safely ahead. Gains the red line right side, fires it in. 2 minutes to go in the second period. McNabb back. Spiked it along for Saad. Saad shuttling it out the center for Kolasar. Kolasar left it back for Hurdle. Hurdle's backhanders in the glove of Gustafsson. And a whistle. And the crowd upset because Gustafsson was trying to move it.
Yeah.
And the official blew the play dead.
Yeah, he didn't want the face-off in his own zone, and that's the right call. But unfortunately, the official was pretty quick to make that call.
One more look, Tom, at the TV monitors on the giveaway by Hill to Trenyan, who centered.
Well, keep pressing Hill. Well, I keep saying that, Joe, about getting the shots to him. Minnesota leading that department 19-16, but the Vegas Golden Knights have scored quite a few shots in this second period to bring that much closer. Minnesota was doubled at one time.
Shots were 18-9, and as Tom said, they've narrowed that deficit, have the Golden Knights. Aided by a power play, of course, in that span. Wild had all that pressure early in the second, couldn't break the tie. Boldy from center launches one in. Hill down the butterfly, catches it, and he'll hang on. 1:45 left in the second period.
You know, these two teams have really played hard, fast-paced hockey. There's no question about it, but it's been a clear, very clean series between the two teams as well. No nonsense. I think both coaches telling their players, you know, we're here to win hockey games. We're not here to fight and see who's going to be the biggest, toughest guys out there. If necessary, both teams would stand up to it, but they're just trying to play a solid game, and right now the Minnesota Wild have got to find a way to get that next goal.
Carlson chops up, not out. Kaprizov held the line. Broken stick now of Carlson. He'll go to the bench as McNabb finds Mark Stone. Stone with an assist on that go-ahead goal. Kaprizov taps free, tries to charge to it, he will. McNabb closed beautifully and took him off the puck. It's Stone now. First Theodore. Boldy was waiting Louise to try and break it up. Puck came out the center. Faber grabs it, protects, touched it off the boards, nobody home. Stone gobbles it up and carries along. Dropped off for Eichel, left wing side, Jack Eichel. Spins it around the wall. William Karlsson to handle it. He's closed on, and the Wild come up with it. Boldy to Brodin, and now Kaprizov in the neutral zone. Looking for Boldy. Pietrangelo tips that out of play. 58.8 seconds left in the second.
Does Eichel ever come off the ice? I tell you, he has played an awful lot. When you look at number 9 on the other side, they've got him playing at 13 minutes and 40 seconds so far, which I believe is top on their side.
Off the face-off, the Golden Knights have it. D to D, Pietrangelo to Hanifin, helped along for Barbashev, tipping it along. Goudreau shoved it back the other way. Hanifin now works it to the right wing wall. Riley Smith throws it in from there. Barbashev to it, left wing dasher, tapped it down low, 40 seconds left. Waugh coming around the cage. Nick Waugh, right wing corner, stopping and shaking. Waugh from the goal line, tried to center, broken up for a moment by Minnesota. Bouncing puck came free, and a shot by Waugh. Kicked off the right pad of Gustafson, then nearly ricocheted in off Middleton. 25 to go in the frame. Middleton bounces it along to Spurgeon. Spurgeon hands it back. Marcus Johansson a full head of steam, attacking through the neutral zone. Flew it off the glass. Got interfered with for a moment. Hanifin back with 12 to go in the period. He cleared off the wall, broken up by Hartman. Helped out the center then by Saad. Grabbing it, Faber. He'll carry the Wild back in. Brock Faber shooting one. Hill carefully trapping it and getting a whistle with 3.7 to go in the period.
Boy, you look at Minnesota right now. They've got 3.7 seconds, Joe. We've seen it happen before. There's enough time here if they can win the draws. And when you look at Minnesota on the draws so far, they have won 61% of the face-offs. And the face-off is going to be deep in the Vegas zone to the left of Hill. Hartman, the guy who's going to be taking the face-off. You got Boldy out there also. To his left and Zuccarello on his right, close to the boards.
They put a few ticks back on. 5.1 left now in the frame. Carlson and Hartman on the draw. Officials checking to make sure that is the correct time. Goucher 21-17 Minnesota, but the Golden Knights have never trailed in this game. In game number 5, they led for just over half the hockey game. In this series, the Golden Knights have led for just 63 minutes and 57 seconds. That's before this hockey game. And half of that time came in Game 5. The Wild had doubled them up as far as leading in the series prior to Game 6. 130-plus minutes leading for Minnesota prior to this one. Carlson and Hartman on the draw, goes to the boards, hacked along by McNabb. And an icing call here. But the horn sounded just prior. So, Jack Eichel with some room on a partial break beat Gustafson past his glove. And after 40 minutes in a must-win scenario for Minnesota, they're down a goal 2-1.
Yeah, you look at Eichel on the year, also number 1 in the team. In 77 games, he played 28 goals, 66 assists. He's the first player with the Vegas Golden Knights to get 90 points on the season. Well, he exceeded that, that's for sure. But right now, Minnesota's biggest concern is being ready at the start of that third period.
There'll be a comeback effort needed for the hometown Wild, trying to stave off elimination. Tom Reed's hotline and a recap of all the action so far comes your way after this. We're through 40 minutes in Game 6. The Wild trail the best of 7-3 games to 2. They trail this one, a must-have for Minnesota, by a score of 2-1. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
The Kentucky Derby is here, and VSiN is covering all the action with a live show Saturday beginning at 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm Mike Somich. Join me and Aaron Halterman for a special live edition of VSiN at the Track. We'll give you the latest news, handicap the race, and give you our best bets, plus interviews with guests like legendary announcer Dave Johnson. Join us live for VSiN at the Track Saturday starting at 4 p.m. Eastern on VSiN. We'll help you make smart bets and enjoy the 151st Run for the Roses on SiriusXM Channel 158 and the SiriusXM app.
NHL NHL Morning Skate.
December 15th, Vancouver Canucks were in the playoffs. And this is when they had that big controversy going on. So they had to do something about it. And they did do something about it. Well, now they're not in the playoffs. You know what? They're not even really close anymore. This is the most absurd season falling apart. The most disappointing team this season of the 32 are the Vancouver Canucks.
NHL Morning Skate
with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick.
Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern
on NHL Network Radio,
Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. We deliver the NHL.
And I just wonder, Berkey, what your thoughts are on the Capitals. They are Exhibit A as to why a retool can work.
Yes, but it's early. They haven't had a playoff run yet. A lot of people taking bows right now that shouldn't be. I really like this coach. I think Chris Patrick, the GM, has done a real nice job. It is a retool, right? And the goaltending's been spectacular, but let's see. Don't pick out a parade route yet, boys.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Liverpool are your 2025 Premier League champions, and no one covered their journey like SiriusXM FC.
This year, they've been absolutely untouchable.
This team was the epitome of a team.
From every big moment
Liverpool with a chance, left foot and it's in! The most dramatic end to this game!
to every major storyline.
Incredible, especially to win it in Anfield is incredible.
No one brings you closer to the English Premier League than SiriusXM FC. Channel 157 in the car and streaming anytime on the SiriusXM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. The world's most thrilling league is now in the palm of your hand. Hear every English Premier League match all season long on the Sirius XM app. Just search for your favorite team. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it, there's a chance, rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Contractors and builders.
It's time for Tom Reed's Hotline. Text in your comments or questions to 64686. You can win fabulous prizes, including dinner at Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub or wild tickets to a future game. And now, Tom Reed's Hotline.
Jack Eichel finally on the board, gets his first of the series with under 4 minutes left to go in the second period. Breaks a 1-1 tie, and the Knights lead the Wild 2-1 after 40 minutes of play. Get those texts in now, 64686. We'll take your question, comments, thoughts, whatever it might be, your anticipation, your agony, whatever's on your mind. Send it to 64686, and we'll send it right to Tom Reed, and you could win dinner at Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub. Another good hockey game there, Tom, but the Wild are having trouble solving Aiden Hill to this point, other than Ryan Hartman finding him on the one-timer.
Yeah, you're right, Kevin. It's not that he's been the stellar in this game either. I mean, he's flopping an awful lot in Minnesota. I just don't think they're putting up pressure on him right now. They've only outshot the opposition by 4, 21-17, but I would keep going after Hill as much as you can. Fire the puck, get bodies in front, knock people down, do what they have to do. But Minnesota, they're down to their final 20 minutes. They've got to be able to come back and win this hockey game.
That said, I've enjoyed the brand of hockey I'm watching here. It's not like they're playing poorly. You can tell they're giving it their all. They're not getting rewarded for those efforts at this point, but it's not like they're not giving it their all at this point. Have you liked their brand of hockey?
Absolutely. I think both teams have really worked hard. Minnesota's done a nice job, and there's no question. I mean, you're coming into a situation where it's do or die, and that's what it is for Minnesota in this game. They just got to find a way to come out in that third period and really take it to task right from the drop of the puck.
Well, let's just jump right into it then with Marcus from Hastings. What, Tom, do they need to do in that third period to not only catch Vegas, but overtake them and grab Game 6?
Well, what they have to, they've got to get control of the puck. I thought the first period was really a solid period for Minnesota. Things always slow down a little bit in the second period, which they do, but now you're down to your final 20 minutes. And That locker room, I can guarantee you right now, they're talking about it in there. Now, they're not screaming and hollering yet, but when they get close to getting back on the ice, they're going to be, hey, guys, let's ramp it up. Let's say we got another gear here. None of those guys want to go home defeated tonight. They want to go home with a good taste in their mouth, and that's going to be a win in this one right now. And if they do win, they won't be going home. They'll be going right to Vegas for the next game in a couple of nights.
That's right. Game 7 Saturday at some point in Vegas if the Wild can figure it out here in the final 20 seconds. It's almost like you can see the text line because this one comes in from Trek in Columbia Heights. In your experience, Tom, what's the vibe in the locker room right now? Between periods, you're getting ready for a potentially huge third period here. You're down by a goal. You're playing okay, but at this point, you're down on the scoreboard. What's being said in the locker room, especially by the guys?
Yeah, the guys, everybody has a voice. The coach might come in and say a couple of things, but I don't think very much. They don't have to say much because the players know the importance of this 20 minutes coming up here. And it's just a matter of, trying to encourage each other. Hey, guys, what do we have to do? Let's talk on the ice. Let's make sure that we get the puck, we dump it in. Let's forecheck. Let's go hard. We saw what happened when Foligno did it in the first period. At the end of the period, results in a goal by Hartman. Keep playing that brand of game. Be smart out here. Be smart with the puck. Manage it well.
Jerry in Stillwater wants to know, he's having trouble keeping his blood pressure down. He's listening to the radio, he's watching it on TV, and he's having trouble controlling himself. He's just so much into the action. How do players manage their emotions in a game as high stakes as this?
Well, you have to look at every game is going to be a little bit different, and your emotions are going to be a little bit different. Who you're playing against, what's happening on the ice, who's taking runs at me, who do I run after? I mean, there's different things, but you have to be collectively, you have to really hold yourself together. We don't need people stepping over the line, so you don't want to take unnecessary penalties. Some penalties are good if they're necessary, but for the most part, be smart out there. Draw the penalties. Move the feet, you move the legs, and all of a sudden now you're going to start drawing penalties and giving men some power plays, which they have not had too many of.
Some text comments here. Should the crowd yell shoot more? I don't think that's going to help. From the 952 area code, shoot that puck on net, do or die at this point. That's from Braxton in Minnetonka. From Bonnie in Elk River. Tom, why does it seem like the refs are always against us? I think this is going back to that first period call against Marco Rossi. You got a chance to see the review. They call it double minor for high stick. As we look at it, McNabb clearly grabbed Rossi's stick and pulled it into his own face. Whether it was intentional or not, that's something that they have the ability to review, correct?
Right. They can review it, and they should review it, just to make sure you get it right. I mean, they got the offside call. They wanted to make sure it was the right call, and unfortunately for Minnesota, it was the right call. But, make sure, because it cost Minnesota a goal in this hockey game.
Yeah.
And people are going to go away thinking, well, why did they do that? Why couldn't they go and look at the replay and find out what happened here? But they didn't. You know what? Right now, I think for the players to come in here, once they step on the ice, and that Vegas knows that Minnesota's going to be coming hard at them.
No doubt. It's going to be a hell of a final frame here. Real quick, while I have the opportunity, after we're done on the flagship for Wild Hockey, I got Wild Fan Line with Pat Micheletti. But earlier today, Joe Micheletti announced after 100 years in the National Hockey League, calling games mostly with Sam Rosen out there in New York on MSG, is calling it a career. Sam Rosen got the goodbye farewell tour. Joe Micheletti just says, I'm done.
Yeah, 18 seasons he's been broadcasting the New York Rangers game. That's a big ticket for someone to be there. And I think he did that. You know why, Kevin? Because he didn't want to take any thunder away from Sam Rosen, who's been there for 40 years. Both great guys, and of course Minnesota's own. The father-in-law, I should say, of Mike Modano.
Yep.
When you look at Joe Micheletti, but wonderful guy and great broadcaster, and wish him nothing but the very best in the future.
Proud Minnesotan, former Golden Gopher, won a national championship with the Gophers, and of course both he and his brother and all the other 58 Michelettis from Hibbing, Minnesota, along with Bob Dylan.
That's right.
Yes. Quite the crew from up there. All right, so we've talked about this a little bit, but what are you expecting here in this third period as the Wild push for the equalizer and then some?
Intensity, composure, aggressiveness. Put it all out there, boys, because there's no tomorrow if you lose.
Awesome stuff, Tom. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That is Tom Reed. Thank you for playing along with Tom Reed's hotline. Someone's going to get a text, and they're going to get a gift certificate down to Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub. I can tell you this much. No matter what happens tonight, twofers at Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub during the Wild in the playoffs and the Timberwolves in the playoffs. Twofers down at Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub. What's a twofer? Go down to Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub. Ask them. They'll be happy to explain it. After 40 minutes of play, the Wild are down 2-1 to the Vegas Golden Knights. A huge third period coming your way here shortly, but we'll recap the first 40 minutes next. This is Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
Soak up spring love vibes with an all-new mix from The Flow.
Bring the beat in.
Now on the SiriusXM app, featuring 2000s R&B hits from the heart by Ashanti, Usher, and Beyonce. Plus smooth 2010s grooves from Frank Ocean, Janelle Monáe, and more. It's the perfect soundtrack for flings, feels, and everything in between. Just search Spring Love in the SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
December 15th, Vancouver Canucks were in the playoffs. And this is when they had that big controversy going on. So they had to do something about it. And they did do something about it. Well, now they're not in the playoffs. You know what? They're not even really close anymore. This is the most absurd season falling apart. The most disappointing team this season of the 32 are the Vancouver Canucks.
NHL Morning Skate
with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick.
Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern
on NHL Network Radio,
SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
General manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff. What would finishing first overall mean to the organization, Kevin?
Well, I think anytime that you can finish in an area where you're getting recognized, it's special. But again, the important thing for us is process. Is when we buy into playing the way we need to play, then we feel comfortable that we'll win more games than not, and then you let the chips fall where they may.
The Power Play
weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern
on NHL Network Radio,
SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Through two periods in St. Paul, 1-1 after one. Shea Theodore with his second of the series. 3:30 in on the power play. Ryan Hartman responds, though, with 4 seconds left to go in period number one. 1-1 is your score after 20 minutes. Go to the second, and it's Vegas that breaks the 1-1 tie.
Carlson tried to tip it free for Eichel. McNabb rescues the loose puck out of the stone into open ice. Look out, it's Eichel. He's got room. Jack Eichel in, took a shot. He scores his first of the series. And a deflating one, to say the least. The Golden Knights back in front.
Tremendous lead pass by Mark Stone to spring Jack Eichel. He beats Gustafsson to the far post. Breaks the 1-1 tie. Eichel with his first of the series puts the Knights on top. That's where we sit. After 2 periods, the Golden Knights lead the Wild 2-1 in St. Paul. Wild are out shooting them 21-17. It was even after 2. 9-9 in the second. Wild with the advantage 21-17 through 40 minutes. That means Philip Gustafsson 8 saves in the second, 15 total through 40 minutes. Thus far, the Wild 0 for 2 on the power play. The Golden Knights are 1 for 3. That's the story here through 2 periods. Season on the line as we get to the third period, and we'll do that next. Game 6 from St. Paul. This is Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
You have a plan for your business and a vision for its future. So it's important to have a banking partner that works to understand all of your goals and what it will take to help you reach them. Work with a banker who is dedicated to listening first and providing insightful, personalized advice that's right for you and your business. Work with Bremer Bank, because understanding is everything. Put us to work for you today at bremer.com.
At the Home Depot, we know the world is a messy place. Keeping it clean takes science. That's why businesses everywhere have long trusted cleaning products from Ecolab to take on the toughest messes. And now, that level of clean is available for your home. Introducing Ecolab Scientific Clean, a full line of professional-grade cleaning products for all your home's needs, so you can clean like you mean business. Now available exclusively at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
No matter who you are or what you do, there's a Ford vehicle that can help you own the day. Make life on the go a walk in the park with the new Ford Explorer. Become the MVP of the work site with the unrivaled performance of a new built Ford Tough F-Series truck, the best-selling trucks in America. Or discover what it really means to adventure in the great outdoors with the new Bronco Sport. Whether it's for work or play, there's a Ford with a great deal waiting at your local Northland Ford dealers. Don't wait. Get behind the wheel of a new Ford today. Based on calendar year total sales.
Wake up at 5. Lace up their skates. You want to see them win state. After all, that's all your kid dreams about. And a strain, sprain, or break doesn't have to take that away. Tria Orthopedic Urgent Care is here for them 7 days a week with no appointment needed. And with Save My Spot, you can reserve your place in line and show up closer to check-in time. With Tria by your side, your body can do amazing things. Visit tria.com/SaveMySpot to learn more.
Volatility. Everyone's feeling it, and that's why more and more people are tapping Chris Lindahl Real Estate's Guaranteed Cash Offer program. We helped a record number of people last month, and this month is looking even better. The reason is simple. When you gamble by listing your house on the open market, there's no guarantee anyone will buy it, and other cash buyers don't call their offers guaranteed. The answer to volatility is a guarantee, and only a guaranteed cash offer is guaranteed to get you to the next chapter of your life. Get yours today at chrislindahl.com.
Terms and conditions apply.
Passing along energy-saving tips to your kids can make a big difference today and for tomorrow. Teach them to turn lights off when they leave the room, or why it's important to adjust a thermostat, even by a degree or two. Let your children be in charge and help them understand the value of energy conservation. Learning these simple yet important behaviors at a young age will help them take these energy-saving habits into adulthood. Visit xlenergy.com/ways to save for more ways your family can help conserve energy in your home.
Third period from St. Paul. The Wild down 2-1 in a must-win game. Wild from right to left on your radio dial in the third. Golden Knights from left to right. Top line on top line to start. Eichel won the draw back cleanly. Theodore hits the red line right side, backhands it in, and we're underway in the third. Faber reverses. Left wing corner, Brodin squeezed it along. Eriksson hustling it ahead. Priestov couldn't get it out. William Karlsson knocked down, and eventually a wrist shot here by Stone is gloved and held by Gustafsson.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of pressure coming from the guys in the white uniforms, the visitors, no question about it. They don't want Minnesota to have that puck at all without someone being on top of them, and that's the way you have to do it. But Minnesota just has to play their game, get in position, move the feet, put the stick down, make a target, and get the shots. They got to get shots and traffic in front of Aiden Hill at the other end.
Third period scoring through the first 5 games favors the Golden Knights slightly 6-5. Vegas was an excellent team in the regular season all year. The best in the NHL. Theodore back of his own net, right wing corner with a pass stolen. Eriksson Ek left circle, took a shot. And that glanced off something, deflected wide. Spurgeon stepped to a drive, and that went well wide. Middleton holds in left point. Whacked it behind the cage. Boldy lifted Theodore's stick, but McNabb is there off the Karlsson and safely played off the glass. Spurgeon swats it the other way. It ends up out of play.
Yeah, I think you got a piece of it with a stick knocking into the player bench, so they'll have the face-off outside the defensive zone of the Golden Knights in front of their bench.
Another look on the TV monitors. Eriksson Ek stealing that pass by Theodore, spun, and his shot was handled with a lot of traffic around Aiden Hill. Petrangelo a pass, it deflects into the Wild zone. Gustafsson with his goal stick, bats it to his left. Middleton leveraged up on it to swing it around for Spurgeon. Outlets for Zuccarello, tipping it ahead. Haig bottled that up, and they'll say the Wild in early. It's offside on Minnesota.
Yeah, what Minnesota doesn't want is a bunch of whistles. They want to get some flow going here to the third period. Well, if you love your Minnesota Wild, you'll really love the Minnesota Wild podcast. It's the perfect place to go to find Wild audio, including all the latest audio from the Wild in the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs. Check it out for yourself and listen at your leisure at wild.com/podcast.
Alex Pietrangelo in his own slot. Floats one off the right wing boards. Jabbed along by Kolasar. Bottled up and gapped up well by Middleton. Now Brandon Saad to pull it from a pile and connect with Hurdle, who sends it in. Looks like either an extra shift here for Tomas Hurdle or some line juggling for Bruce Cassidy in the third. Kolasar spins left wing wall. Checked. Came freely away from that pile. Now Pietrangelo right side, a shot glanced wide. Getting to it, Middleton. Vegas could have also been in the middle of a change. Need to add that to the possible scenarios as Hartman carries in. Left it off. Foligno a shot. It's in the glove of Aiden Hill.
Going to take the eyes away from the goaltender, get bodies in front there, get a little more aggressive. Kind of things are kind of slow pace here to start the third period. Played a minute and 39 seconds so far. Shots right now are 23-18 in favor of the home team, but unfortunately it's the visitors with the one-goal lead.
Draw to the right of Hill. Freddie Gaudreau celebrating a birthday today, 32 years of age. As Kaprizov to his right, Johansson to his left, Merrill and Bogosian out there. So again, Kaprizov an extra shift here early in the third, trying to jumpstart the Wild down 2-1. Off the face-off, a bouncing puck grabbed by Whitecloud, able to sky it ahead safely through center. Bogosian turns to chase. This is an icing call in Vegas.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They just want to slow things down as much as they possibly can. Minnesota's needed to pick up the pace, get good puck possession.
Tom, where do you come out on protecting a lead, playing it safe, or staying aggressive with the lead?
I think I've always believed you stay aggressive. You don't, because if you stay aggressive, the chances are you might get something, rewarded for doing so. Sitting back and waiting for somebody to get a goal against you is not a good recipe for success.
Merrill holds in right point, try to squeeze it down low. Hannafin intercepted. Now to Riley Smith, and then onto the tape of Nick Waugh. Dropped it back for Barbashev, flicked it down low. Bogosian rolls it around the boards. Gaudreau chops it free, and here's Marcus Johansson hitting the red line, putting it ahead for Kaprizov, who spun up, got it back to Johansson, took a shot, held the save, rebound Johansson, bottom of the right circle. Up top to Bogosian, had to play it out of his skates. Flicked it along to Merrill, back to Bogosian, loads, fires, a blocker saved by Hill. Merrill stepped to the rebound, and Hill snatches that up in his glove. And then Merrill joins the scrum after Kaprizov got shoved, and some rough stuff here. Kaprizov's helmet just knocked off.
Well, they're going to go after Kaprizov. He's Minnesota's star player. So they'll go after him, try and take him out of the play, draw penalties on their behalf. And I don't think there's any penalties being called in that last little scrum. No damage done. The clock becomes the enemy eventually.
Yeah, certainly does.
Winding down.
Shooter's mentality for Minnesota, though, early in the third. Already 4 shots in the third. We stay 5-on-5 here after that scrum. Kaprizov stays on the ice. Eriksson and Boldy to join him. Faber and Brodin, the defenseman. The Wild a quick huddle up here to talk some strategy. Eichel on the draw for Vegas. Hits to the right of Hill. Eriksson tried to go forward off the faceoff. It ends up deep in the Golden Knights zone where Theodore was wrapped up. McNabb now, some good patience. Knocked one along the boards. Pinching in was Brodin. Boldy to cover up and come away with this puck right side. Boldy trying to get around Eichel. Nudged it free, and Stone flies it just out to center. Faber to Brodin. Punched along for Boldy. Trickled it ahead, hoping for Eriksson. Stone was there to jar it free again. Shea Theodore looking for Braden McNabb. That pass explodes away. Icing on Vegas. 17-15 to go in regulation of Game 6. The Wild down 2-1.
Yeah, once again, a lot of face-offs here in the third period. And that slows the speed of the game down considerably.
Again, it's Eriksson and Eichel on the draw.
Yeah, the thought process, certainly for Vegas, is, hey, guys, we don't need another goal, but let's not just sit back.
Off the tie-up, it comes free for Karlsson to skate the Golden Knights ahead. He'll try to chop it past Brodin. William Karlsson, first man there. Brodin leans on him. Karlsson then had it pried free by Brodin. And Brock Faber knuckles it along. Kaprizov couldn't settle down the bouncing puck. Haig in transition for Karlsson. Spun off the check of Brodin and then rolled it behind the Wild net. Faber back to pick it up. Brock Faber. The 22-year-old just gives it up to Brodin. He'll go for a change as Jonas Brodin sits back of his net. Brodin waits a few more moments. Now snaps it off the right wing wall. Spurgeon had to clang away from him. Golden Knights come up with it. Pearson trying to weave it ahead. Slowed down by Zuccarello. Foligno back to gather off to Spurgeon. Knocked up ice for Hartman. Now Zuccarello trying to go back to Hartman. Hartman had it just chunked away by Haig. He had some ice in front of him. Driving through the slot is Middleton. Launches it in from center. Hill out. Reversed it. Haig trying to clear it along the glass. Knocked down by the Wild. Zuccarello played it to Middleton for a shot. Tipped wide. Hartman threw it back out in front. And the Golden Knights pick it up. And they start ahead as Pearson hits the red line and throws it into the cross corner. Back for it, Middleton rumbles around his net. Poked a pass along that's gathered by Boldy. Now Rossi takes his feed, connecting with Zuccarello. Zuccarello centering it, deflected up into the air, kept in by Middleton left point with a shot. That was blocked and jabbed back out the center. Zuccarello plucks it along to Spurgeon. Red line right side, the captain blasts it in. Hill out with his goal stick. Reverse it around, Boldy able to steal it. Matt Boldy looking for some help. Center to drive by Johansson, blocked out in front. Whitecloud couldn't clear. Faber threw it in front. Boldy open. Dance to his backhand. Lost the puck. He couldn't get a shot through as the Golden Knights somehow came out of the woods.
Wide open net.
Hill was down and out. And the Vegas D pried it free. Boldy on a reset carries back in left wing side. Squeezed it down low. Johansson outdueled Theodore. The puck got stuck along the dasher. Theodore then carved it free and Riley Smith will roll it down the ice. It's going to die short of ice. Almost 5 minutes played in the third. Some good looks for Minnesota down a goal in Game 6. Brodin stops behind his own net, a double swing to his left, Gaudreau and Trenyon. Jonas Brodin lugs it along. Fed Merrill right side, snapped along for a tip in by Gaudreau. Again out with his goal stick came Hill. Again he didn't get much on it. Merrill pinched in, the Golden Knights nudge it free. They've got a 3-on-3 with two forwards back for the Wild. Bogosian defends on Nick Waugh, and he forced him off the puck with the help of Trenyon. Gaudreau skated to it, flexed it along Merrill, hits the red line, lofts it in, Brazo in on the forecheck. Justin Brazo behind the net. Try to bottle it up. Gaudreau joined the scrum. Freddie Gaudreau weaving it free. Waugh checked him. A battle ensues to the left of Hill. Trenyon lofted it along. Hustling to a Pietrangelo. Brazo closed. A pass for Mark Stone. He'll deal it out to center in a 2-on-2. Here's Nick Waugh. Waugh walks in right circle. Handed it back. Barbashev, a shot blocked away by Eriksson Ek. Barbashev to his own rebound. Look for Pietrangelo. Bouncing puck in trouble. It's sent out in open ice. But getting there first is Hanifin ahead of Boldy. Off to Stone. Floated back to Hanifin. Right wing pass, Pietrangelo just charges it along. A bouncer that gave Faber some trouble. William Karlsson skates to it. Karlsson feeding it to Eichel. Boldy trying to hound him. Eichel cut down deeper in the offensive zone. Had his stick lifted for a moment. Jack Eichel back in the cage, worked over by Brodin. Eichel spins, bought himself some space around the net of Gustafsson, coming out left side. Jack Eichel centers, and Boldy batted that pass away, and outlets for Kaprizov. Kaprizov trying to work it free. Ripped it rink wide, Boldy. In onside, it careened away. Hanifin touched it along for Theodore. 6.5 minutes gone by in the third. Here's Kaprizov, offensive zone, left wing wall, keeping a puck in. Lost it then to Theodore, who bounced it along for Howden to chisel safely through center.
Yeah, you watch right now what the Vegas Golden Knights are doing. They're just dumping the puck out of their zone. They get it, and then they go back into a defensive mode.
Spurgeon feeds Kaprizov in onside, down low. Hartman open in front, Hill to save. It looked like there was room across the crease for Hartman, but Hill swallowed it up.
Boy, did he ever. Harvey's got to be talking to himself, but what a series he's had.
13:10 to go. It jumped on Hartman at the last moment, it looked like. Flubbed off his tape. Hill made the stop. And the Wild still down 2-1 in Game 6. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
A place in the UEFA Champions League final is on the line, and all the drama is on Sirius XM FC. After a 6-goal classic in Spain, Barcelona and Inter meet in Milan with the tie level and everything to play for.
Serrano's is there again. He scored again.
It's a Champions League semi-final. Inter versus Barca. Tuesday at 3 Eastern on Sirius XM FC, channel 157 in the car and the Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
December 15th, Vancouver Canucks were in the playoffs. And this is when they had that big controversy going on. So they had to do something about it. And they did do something about it. Well, now they're not in the playoffs. You know what? They're not even really close anymore. This is the most absurd season falling apart. The most disappointing team this season of the 32 are the Vancouver Canucks.
NHL Morning Skate
with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick.
Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern
on NHL Network Radio,
Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
General manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff. What would finishing first overall mean to the organization, Kevin?
Well, I think anytime that, you can finish in an area where you're getting recognized, it's special. But again, the important thing for us is process. Is when we buy into playing the way we need to play, then, we feel comfortable that we'll win more games than not. And then you let the chips fall where they may.
The Power Play.
Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern
on NHL Network Radio,
Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
Todd.
$13:10 to go here, third period. Minnesota down one, face-off deep in the Vegas zone.
Golden Knights emerge off the draw. Pietrangelo skates through a slot to the left wing side, flies a backhander ahead, gobbled up by Spurgeon, twisting it back up ice onto the tape of Foligno. And now Zuccarello back to Foligno, lost it, got it back, fed Hartman left circle. No carry into the corner, spinning off the hit of Pietrangelo. Foligno grabs it, rims it around. Spurgeon activate right side. Try to hustle one in front of his block. The captain spun free. Another drive, this time blocked by Hanifin. Spurgeon knocked down his clearing attempt, continues to battle for the Wild. And now Foligno giving way. Zuccarello, a shot blocked out in front. Howden skates it ahead. Brett Howden fires it in from the red line. Gustafsson stops it. Foligno pressured immediately. Squeezed it on a reverse to Spurgeon. 7.5 played in the third. Joe O'Donnell, Tom Reed with you. The Wild needing at least one in this hockey game. They trail game 6 2-1. Kaprizov a chip and chase. Got to it. Whistled a shot wide. Johansson keeps in. Johansson turned. Launched one in front of his block. Getting to it. Hartman center. Kaprizov was bottled up in front. And the puck jabbed off the glass by Barbashev. Feels like the Wild, Tom, are pressing, though. They've got some urgency to their game.
Yeah, they have to have some urgency right now. No question about it, but just 12 minutes to go here in the third period.
Of course, you have to be wary of the counterattack and an odd man rush coming the other way. They're going to need a save at some point from Gustafsson, who has seen just one shot here in the third. Here's Riley Smith back of the net. Offensive zone. Played up top. McNabb faked the drive. Worked it to Theodore. Just kept in at the point. Spun it around looking for Waugh. It leaks free. Where it's poked into the corner for Waugh. Waugh watched and wrapped up by Bogosian. Nick Waugh fought through it. His pass poked away for a moment by Rossi. And now Kaprizov gapped up on it's Bogosian again to it to spin it around where John Merrill left wing corner carves it free for Johansson. Johansson goes rink wide, fresh off the bench. Trenyon unable to gather. Pietrangelo D-to-D. Theodore bouncing it along for Tanner Pearson, who spent last year with the Canadians. He'll weave it behind the net. Merrill went awkwardly in the end wall, but handed it off where Goudreau spiked it up, not out Pietrangelo. Pietrangelo battled with by Goudreau, came away and scooped into open ice, hoping for Nyquist. Nyquist trying to spin near the offensive blue line. Gustav Nyquist protects, drilled it back with 11 minutes to go. The Wild go D-to-D. Faber back to Jonas Brodin. Hits the red line, peeled it up ice. Trenyon flies it into the cross corner. Right wing side they go. Nyquist and Goudreau into the scrum. Nyquist able to emerge for a moment. Handed it off to Freddie Goudreau from the goal line. Turned to his backhand. Got checked there by Hanifin. Supporting was Nyquist, but Mark Stone offers it out the center. Brodin freed it up. Faber raced to it. Bottled up for a moment. Got it to Goudreau. Paddled back for Brodin. And now on the tape of Faber as we near the midway point of the third period. Deep in his own zone, Brodin plays catch with Faber. Faber onto the tape of Zuccarello. Spins back. Angles left wing wall, picks his head up, and connected with Boldy. Boldy shoving it along, too hot to handle for Middleton. Keegan Colasar the other way. Slowed down by the Wild. Spurgeon skied it up into the air. But the Golden Knights are there again. Couple of minutes now off the clock without much puck possession for Minnesota. Boldy in front of the Wild bench was bumped. Colasar lays it back. McNabb inside his own blue line. Worked it to Theodore. Fanned on his pass. It broke his stick, but Zuccarello took his eye off of it. And Colasar attacks. Boy, that could have been a chance for Minnesota. To the left of Gustafsson, Zuccarello won the battle. Eriksson to Spurgeon, flexed along for Boldy. Two players staring him down. He'll flop it in. 9:38 and counting left in the third. Wild need one to tie. Hanifin handed it off. Hurdle tried to clear it. Glove down by Hartman. Hartman in the slot with a backhander, and it tipped high and wide into the netting. Boy, what a game from Ryan Hartman. Just hope they find a way to make it worthwhile.
Yep, I would agree that Joey's had a terrific game, but Minnesota's still pressing with 9:29 to go here in the third.
Timeout on the ice. The Wild down 2-1 in Game 6. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
So, after you lift weights, your body keeps burning calories for hours post-workout.
Oh, like a BMO Savings Builder account.
What?
With BMO, I can get a reward every month I save.
So, you're getting an extra reward for the work you've already done?
Exactly. Plus, BMO gave me a cash bonus when I opened a checking account.
That's a flex.
This is a flex. Check out these pythons.
Pump up your savings with BMO. Conditions apply. Learn more at BMO.com/kickstart. Accounts are subject to approval and are provided in the United States by BMO Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
BMO.
Cub has everything you need.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. Thanks for hanging out with us. This is TSI Mike, and now that we've got your attention, we're bringing you every single game of the NBA and NHL playoffs while supporting SickKids Hospital in Toronto through our Playoff Pulse campaign. Let's grow our global community. Hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell, and join the action.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! Joe Bowen here, voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Playoff Pulse on Toronto Sports Insider is all about playoff thrills and making a difference, with 100% of Leaf playoff stream revenue going directly to SickKids for their life-saving treatments and research. We're aiming for 100,000 insiders to boost our impact. So subscribe now and be a part of this incredible movement. Holy Mackinac! Let's show SickKids Hospital we're here for them. Join us today.
Hey you, yeah you, Easton Cowan, Leafs prospect here. I'm loving these Playoff Pulse live hangouts. Subscribe and turn on the bell to catch every game. Keep the chat buzzing and let's cheer for SickKids together. See you in the chat.
Guys, the visitors are picking up a little bit better opportunities with the draws. Here's a big one right now for Minnesota.
Eichel was able to skate to it after Karlsson pushed it free. And now Karlsson labeling one of the right wing boards. Stone just swats it in. Behind the net of Gustafsson, Jonas Brodin punched it around looking for Kaprizov. Bouncing puck nearly came free. Karlsson handing it to the point. Stone to Theodore. Theodore, left circle. McNabb a shot. Kick save Gustafsson. Brady McNabb to his own rebound. Tossed it around the boards. Boldy rips it up ice. Boy, it was just broken up by Stone as Kaprizov is looking to dart ahead. Stone fires it back in. Brodin around his own net. Reverses off his end wall for Brock Faber. Faber launching it along Kaprizov. Stops. Used the ice beneath him. Michael tied him up. It was muscled to Eriksson Ek. Chiseled free now for Brodin, who hands it to Boldy. Over the blue line left side. Back down low for Brodin. Threw one in front. Eriksson Ek whipped on it. His stick was being tied up. Lots of close calls for the Wild. Can they find the equalizer? Oh my goodness. Waugh just fell down and the arm up from the official. And as Brodin touches up, the Wild are going to be shorthanded. It's a tripping call. And you've got to be kidding me.
I got to see this one again.
I mean,
Minnesota penalty, 97, 2 minutes, tripping.
8:30 left in the third. And if there's ever a time for a kill, it's now. Tom, here's one more look after we get a replay at the fanned attempt by Eriksson Ek. Boy, the pass just handcuffed him. I thought maybe he got his stick tied up. Here's another look at the penalty. Kaprizov spun for the puck. Didn't get it. Got the skates of Waugh. He went down in a heap.
So this penalty comes at 11 minutes and 30 seconds.
Draw to the right of Gustafsson. Golden Knights smelling blood in the water. Hurdle and Gaudreau on the draw. And the Golden Knights control off the face-off Theodore. Through the high slot outside the left circle, Eichel. Down to the goal line for Stone. Hand it back to Eichel. Once more Stone. Out in front. Gustafsson the kick save with his left skate. And Foligno the rebound, twisting it on his backhand out through center. Just over 8 minutes left. Shots are 27-20 Minnesota. They haven't outshot the Golden Knights in any meeting of the year, regular season or playoffs coming in. Eichel over the blue line. Forced it left wing side, getting past the check Victor Olofsson. Label back along to Eichel. Wrapped up by Gaudreau. Hurdle supported. Up high. Theodore with a lane. Gave it back to Eichel. Left circle at the dot. Shooting one. Blocked by Faber. It comes back to Eichel. Jack Eichel dancing with the puck. Attacks towards the dot center. Hurdle a shot. Chest save Gustafsson. And he gets a whistle. Boy, Faber had his stick broken on that first shot block, and Gustafsson had to come up with a big-time stop.
And he did. He did exactly that, and being congratulated by number 17 of Minnesota also, and that's Foligno right the same. Way to go. Something's wrong with the goaltender or not? It appears to be okay. Gus was showing something to the linesman up there. Wasn't quite sure exactly what it was. There isn't an alternate referee and an alternate linesman here in the building, which you get closer to the end of playoffs, you'll have that all the time.
Golden Knights win the draw again. Theodore raced into the high slot, dealt it back to Eichel, left circle, shooting one. Gustafsson just fought it off. Got just enough of it with his left arm and his left pad. Golden Knights dig the rebound free halfway through on the power play. Bogosian tries to tie it up right wing corner, stabbed it along, bouncing puck. Eriksson Ek with some help, a 3-on-3 shorthanded. Joel Eriksson Ek over the blue line right side. Tried a power move on Theodore, lost to the corner, got it back. Tried to bottle it up as long as he could. Now Eichel overskates it and will regather. A Wild bailout on a change. 40 seconds left on the minor to Kaprizov. Just over 7 minutes, though, to go essentially in the Wild season. Can they find the equalizer at home in Game 6, down 2-1? Gaudreau tried to clear. Great keep by Barbashev. Even better stick by Faber. Broke up his pass. Faber battles, won the war, and got it to Gaudreau. Tossed off the Boldy. And this crowd appreciates the effort of Brock Faber.
Absolutely did a great job. They not only broke up the play, he was able to make the play himself.
Gaudreau then a good stick. Swatted a pass, free for Spurgeon, who hacks it ahead. Foligno over the blue line, shorthanded. Spun, protects. No help coming. He'll just take it back out the center and knife it the way of Spurgeon. 5 seconds to go on the PK. Spurgeon right side, loads, golfs it all the way down. Hill traps it and hangs on. The power play is over, but the Wild down to just 6:29 their comeback bid.
Yeah, and the fans appreciate the effort also of Minnesota killing off that. There's still plenty of time with 6:29 to go here. In the third, it's 1-goal lead by the Vegas. Faceoff will be deep in the Vegas zone, also to the left of their goaltender.
Oh, if there's any silver lining, Tom, Kaprizov just sat for 2 minutes.
Yep, so hopefully he's recovered enough. Hartman taking the draw on this one once again.
Hartman and Carlson on it. It's to the left of Hill. Hartman the right shot, won it back cleanly, but they'll blow the play dead and reset. It just feels like at every turn as this series has moved along, the Wild can't catch a break.
Nope.
Now Zuccarello to take it. Hartman stands over his left shoulder. And Zuccarello, the left shot, pulled onto the tape of Hartman against William Karlsson. Karlsson won it back off his envelope. Hannafin stops. Fed it to Pietrangelo, golfed off the glass and out through center. It'll die short of icing. The Golden Knights hurry off on a change. Jonas Brodin left side, chopped it along for Zuccarello. Wild were in this spot in their final regular season game, needing a goal against Anaheim. Obviously a much different team than Vegas, but they got it with just about 22 seconds left. Eriksson Ek on a beautiful setup from Boldy. 6 minutes to go in Game 6. The Wild need one to tie. Zuccarello on a reset to Brodin. Hacked it along Kaprizov. Onside, had a bit of room. Darts to the right wing boards. Kaprizov closed by Howden. Kaprizov spun, got knocked down from his knees, then was stripped to the puck by Saad, who leads the charge up ice. Brandon Saad pivoted, attacked in front, around the net of Gustafsson, found Theodore, back door. It ricocheted just wide. And the Wild stay alive for now. 5.5 minutes left. From right to left on your radio dial. Minnesota changing on the fly. Johansson connects with Faber. Brock Faber tapped off the boards. Just then had to muscle it out to center. Pearson trying to ratchet it back in. Johansson came over to support. Golden Knights end up with this puck, though, for a moment. Pearson just tying it up along the wall.
Yeah, that's killing the clock. That's all they're doing, Joe.
Comes free for Rossi. Swept it along Foligno. Hannafin's good gap broke up that rush. So Rossi regroups. Middleton, a quick one-up. Johansson trying to weave past Pietrangelo. He did. Johansson in tight. Around the net of Hill with a wrap around the whip right through the blue paint. Middleton followed it up, jabbed it along Johansson. Right wing wall to the point. Brodin right back to Johansson with the shot. It glanced off a body, deflected wide. Rossi locates it, spun it around the net. Johansson below the goal line, right wing corner, with help coming from Foligno. As Hannafin tied him up, Karlsson dug it free and outlets to Eichel. 4:37 on the clock as Eichel weaves it in. Charging back for it, Spurgeon. Left wing corner in his own zone. The Wild captain flicked it along, not out. It is Eichel now, right wing circle, tapping off for Stone. Good reach in there by Boldy. Golden Knights hold him with Theodore. D-to-D McNabb. He'll make the safe play, spinning it down low. Eichel pinned up by Brodin, but Brodin lost his stick. Carlson dug it free. William Karlsson to the point. Theodore keeps in, shakes to his left, fires one. Gustafsson, a save, rebound for Eichel. He fanned on it twice. Boldy dove and kept it away from trouble. Golden Knights have it again. Center point Theodore. Handed along left side, McNabb waiting. Down from the goal line, threw one in front, they score. Mark Stone out of midair with 3:58 to go. He baseball bats it home, and the Golden Knights are in front by 2.
Yeah. Disappointing for Minnesota, no question about it. Minnesota just could not get that puck, and Stone, the veteran that he is, number 61, puts it away. With a 2-goal lead here with 3:58 to go in the third period. Valiant effort by Minnesota trying to make something happen here, but the Vegas Golden Knights had other ideas. They have not given Minnesota a lot of good opportunity, especially in this third period.
I mean, it's just an all-world play by Mark Stone. He camped out in front. He presented his stick, and then the pass is at his midsection. And he just got enough of it.
And I wouldn't call that luck either, Joe. You watch these guys in practice. They work on knocking those pucks up. John Hines right now just has to match up whatever he can do best. Going to have to put the goaltender here pretty soon.
Tom, in games 4, 5, and 6, the Golden Knights' top players have really awoken.
Yeah, they really have. And watching Gus right now, I'm sure that he's getting ready to come off the ice.
Lino tries to poke in. Hannafin cuts it off. Left circle, outlets for a tip-in. So the deficit at 2 for the Wild. Faber deep in his own zone. Off to Middleton, his centering feed. Ricocheted along. Faber to grab it right side. Hacked it up by Foligno. Middle of the ice pass Middleton trying to join the rush. It ends up all the way near Hill. Diving Middleton. Great effort there. He went hard into the end wall. Centering feed. Johansson alone in front. Couldn't tuck it home. They score! Hartman tucks it home, his second of the game. And the Wild are right back within 1.
Well, that changes things a little bit, does it not? This one coming with plenty of time remaining, also 3:27, so this is officially at 16:33 of the third period. Hartman, he's just, great effort. And, watch Foligno also. Guys just coming and paying the price here, trying to make something good happen, and you get the puck around the net. Now, all of a sudden, you watch the juices on the part of the Minnesota players.
Don't go anywhere. We've got a hockey game. Crowd standing. Great effort by Middleton initially, Tom, just to cause some chaos. Then Johansson with a wraparound couldn't get it home for the second time in this period cleanly. And then Hartman did tuck it in.
Yeah, and that's why I say I don't think that Hill has had a very solid series, to be honest with you, Joe. But you're right, Middleton got in there, made his presence felt, created the chaos you talked about. Now, let's see what happens.
Off the draw, Hartman fires in from center. A bouncer knocked away by Hill, handed off to Theodore. We'll keep our eyes on Gustafsson as Theodore ices his puck. And that wasn't the smartest play. 3:14 to go.
Minnesota! Second goal of the game for number 38, Ryan Hartman. Assisted by number 90, Marcus Johansson. Time of the goal, 16:33. Hartman from Johansson at 16:33 for the Wild.
And plenty of time here still remains. We talked about 3:12 showing in the big board.
Gustafsson still in net. Shots are 29-23 Minnesota. Golden Knights win the draw. The crowd still standing as it's lofted ahead. Another icing call coming. Faber on his horse just ahead of Kolasar to get the whistle.
And if Minnesota scores that next goal, the roof is going to come off this building, Joe. I can assure you of that. And let's hope that is going to happen. But we need some of the big guys to continue to step up, those who have and those who haven't. We need your help right now to tie up this hockey game. Face off deep in the Golden Knights zone.
To my knowledge, there have been just a couple of multi-goal comeback wins in the entire Stanley Cup playoffs. The Wild trailed by 2 for just 21 seconds. Hartman stays out with Foligno, Johansson, Faber, and Brodin. And why not? Draw to the right of Hill. Off the draw. The Wild get it to the left point. Faber, a quick shot, bounce wide, and it ends up in the netting.
Winning the draws, puck possession, puck management, bodies to the net, get in front of that hill. Watching Gus right now, he's about 6 feet outside that blue paint area. Looks like we're going to have a timeout being called.
The TV timeout, the final one of regulation in Game 6. Can the Wild come from the dead? Down 2 goals just moments ago. It's a 3-2 deficit for Minnesota with 3:01 basically left in their season in game number 6. Trailing the best of 7, 3 games to 2. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
From snow and ice to road salt and sludge, Minnesota winters can be tough on your car. Get clean car happy no matter the forecast at Tidal Wave Auto Spa. Tidal Wave's industry-leading car wash gives your vehicle a fast, thorough clean to preserve your car's finish from the elements. Experience clean car shine worth cheering for at Tidal Wave Auto Spa, the state of hockey's car wash destination and proud car wash partner of the Minnesota Wild.
My car is happy. I am happy. Tidal Wave Auto Spa.
From the very beginning, Minnesota Wild fans have been the heartbeat of this team.
Here's Gabrick, and shoots, scores! Gabrick with 5 goals tonight.
Year 25 will bring memories that'll last you a lifetime. Be there when it matters most.
Off the end wall, Kaprizov scores! Oh, what a shot!
Be forever Wild. Learn more at wild.com/forever.
Beautiful mountains, wide open spaces, bustling cities and towns. There's a lot to love in our home states. And at Xcel Energy, we take pride in helping our local communities thrive. Beyond providing reliable energy, we help support the local economy and fund education with grants. Because your home is our home. And together, we can make it a better place to live, work, learn, and play. See how at excelenergy.com/community.
Minnesota's 151% of the draws. Hartman out there right now, and he's been a thorn in the side of the Golden Knights, no question about it, but we need him right now to come through for Minnesota.
Hartman and Eichel in the draw. Hartman, Foligno, and Johansson stay out. Eichel won it back. It's carved safely ahead. Faber grabs a bouncing puck shy of the red line. Hits the center stripe, filters it in. Gustafsson still in net. Hill to Pietrangelo. Snapped up, turned over. Left point, Brodin. Hurried a shot. Rebound in front for Hartman. He got his stick lifted by Pietrangelo. Penalty call, no. Boy, the crowd reacting as Johansson ended up in a heap. Thought an arm was coming up from the referee. Not there. Eichel into the offensive zone. Checked by Brodin, who won the battle and lugged it along for Faber. Faber bounces it back to Jonas Brodin. 2.5 minutes left. Onto the tape of Foligno. Left wing pass Johansson. Charges in. Deep into the Golden Knights zone around the net. Johansson cut past another check center for Hartman. Oh, he let it come free thinking Zuccarello was there. He wasn't. 2:15 to go. The Wild back in their own zone. Gustafsson still between the pipes. And honestly, Tom, I might keep him there a bit longer. The Wild are buzzing. Zuccarello dances through center, flutters it in. Gustafsson looks. Now he's going to go to the bench. McNabb trying to clear out Barbashev. Bouncing puck came loose for Carlson. He's stripped by Boldy. Empty net for the Wild. $1:55 to go. It comes to Rossi at the goal line left side. He'll feed Kaprizov. Chopped along for Zuccarello. Fired in from center. Hustling to it, Kaprizov. McNabb there first. Hurried around. Gave it away. Spurgeon. McNabb broke his stick, by the way, on that clearing attempt. Left point Zuccarello. To the corner, Kaprizov. Bounce back to Zuccarello. Rolling puck will knock it down. Feathered around the net again. Waiting for it. Boldy right side with 93 seconds to go in the Wild season. Boldy wrestled down the ice. Turned over, though, by the Golden Knights on a clearing attempt. Spurgeon and Zuccarello. Cross ice Boldy with a shot. Hildesheim is loose in front. They jab away at it. Eriksson Ek trying to find it. Pulling it from the pile, but losing it were the Golden Knights. Zuccarello now left circle shooting one and tipped wide. Eichel picks it up. Fires for long range to the empty net. He missed it wide by about 10 feet. Icing the call with 71 seconds to go.
Oh, fans felt there should have been a couple of penalty calls made in this, but a little bit, I think a little bit hairy or scary to call those type of penalties, but the officials felt there was no need to do so. So obviously the fans not happy with the officiating, but you know what? I think for the most part they've done a pretty good job. But there's always questions.
Timeout being called by Minnesota. 71 seconds left. Boy, that was a big rebound off the shot by Boldy from the left of Hill. It kind of fluttered around for a moment, and Zuccarello with a chance at Theodore deflected wide. Boy, there have been opportunities in this third period for Minnesota. They're sitting at 31 shots, Tom. They need one more, though, to tie it. And an empty net behind them, you always have to be wary of that.
Yeah, they have played exceptionally well in this game also, even though they've given up 3 goals. And the thing is, right now, Minnesota they are peppering as much as they possibly can those shots to the opposition. And I would just, as I said before, I think the weak point for this hockey club that I've seen so far in this series has been the goaltending. But he's getting the wins.
Golden Knights have won 41 straight Stanley Cup playoff games since April the 23rd of 2019 when they scored 3 or more. That's pretty darn dominant.
Yep.
Offensive zone draw for the Wild after the timeout. Hartman, Eriksson Ek, Kaprizov, Zuccarello, and Boldy. Eriksson Ek on the draw against Eichel. Eichel on his strong side. Eriksson Ek trying to pull it on his backhand. Draw to the right of Hill. Down a goal in Game 6 for the Wild. Have the magic left in them. Eriksson Ek won it. Kaprizov tips up top. Spurgeon patrols the blue line. Fired a shot. It glanced down in front. Hartman to the carom right wing corner. Try to fire it along. Blocked by McNabb. McNabb trying to twist it free for Eichel. Hartman got there. Kaprizov now wheels it around. Zuccarello with under a minute left. Fired a shot. It was blocked out in front. Golden Knights get to it. Eichel ended up in a heat. Wild keep it alive. Boldy racing for it. Right side. Nearly lost his footing. Boldy protects right wing corner. Stuffed it up top. Spurgeon. 48 seconds left. Handed along Zuccarello. Back to the captain Spurgeon at center point. Right side. Boldy fakes a shot. Takes a look. Boldy back up top. Spurgeon. Fake the one-timer. Left circle Zuccarello. Trying to fire one in front and tipped wide. Eriksson Ek couldn't reach it. 35 seconds left. Howden unable to clear. Spurgeon resets. Half minute left in the Wild season. It is Hartman feeding Zuccarello left side. Back up top Hartman. Outside the left circle. Took a shot. Blocked out in front. Golden Knights reaching for it. It is Stone firing it off the glass and all the way down. Hustling back forward Spurgeon. And with 19.8 seconds left, it's icing.
Well, there's still a chance. And that's what you look for right to the very end. And you can bet that both teams right now just hoping to get a little bit of rest. I'm wondering once one team's going to call a timeout here.
Eriksson Ek on the draw.
And the problem with that, because Minnesota doesn't want to call a timeout because they're hoping that the Vegas Golden Knights players are tired from being out there so long.
Puck is down. Long wait here. And now both centermen reset. I don't know why such a delay. Eichel and Eriksson Ek lean in again to the right of Hill. Eriksson Ek and Eichel both hit the deck. Puck grabbed by the Golden Knights. Theodore trying to tie it up. 15 seconds to go. Digging it free Hartman. Hartman dancing out in front. The blocker of Hill got in the way. It's poked up top. 10 seconds left. Zuccarello with it. He's got a man center point. Faber wristing a shot. It was blocked. 5 seconds left. Faber hustled to it. Fired another one in front. Blocked by Howden. 2 seconds ago. Hacked in front. And the Wild season comes to an end. The Vegas Golden Knights win the final 3 games of this series, and they hang on for dear life in Game 6 to win 3-2 and eliminate the Wild. And their first round hurdle still remains for Minnesota, as they haven't gotten past the opening round since 2015.
Disappointing for the 18,000 plus in this building, certainly for the Minnesota Wild players and staff and all of us here are connected with the team as well. And Minnesota, what a valiant effort, trying to make some good things happen here. They're playing against a very solid club, but I thought Minnesota really handled themselves well in this series. And congratulations to the Wild team. I know they're disappointed. We're disappointed, but at the same time, there has to be losers, there has to be winners. Unfortunately, it was not Minnesota's turn to be the winner.
And Tom, of course, this brings us to the end of the Hall of Fame career for Marc-Andre Fleury. Can't be lost in the shuffle as they'll start the handshake line out at center. The game winner comes off the tape of Mark Stone with 3:58 left, batting a puck out of midair off a centering feed from the corner. And the Wild would answer back moments later to make it 3-2, but Stone's tally, his second as many games, turns out to be the difference.
Yeah. And as well as the players, of course, the Wild staff, the coaching staff and so on already have congratulated each other on a hard-fought series. 6 games. And it goes down to the final game here for the Golden Knights winning by 1 goal. Minnesota, great effort. And what they've gone through here, Joe, and you often wonder what would have happened had we had Kaprizov and had Joel Eriksson all year long, and the players that they really lost that made a big difference with this hockey team. But now have to regroup. Now the summertime is time to find out what holes they can fill with who and who can afford, and there's just so much going on right now. And Billy Guerin, I think, has to be proud of his team. There's no question about it. And John Hines also and his coaching staff. Congrats to the players on the other side.
Final handshake line ever for Marc-Andre Fleury. What a career. He finishes with 575 career regular season wins, second all-time in games played and wins, third ever in saves, tied for third all-time in Stanley Cup playoff victories, the 3 Stanley Cups, of course, with the Penguins. And by coming into Game 5 to replace Philip Gustafsson, who fell ill after the second period, Fleury, the most ever postseason appearances by an NHL goaltender, as far as seasons with a team making the playoffs and him appearing in at least one Stanley Cup playoff game for that team. The Wild finished with 31 shots. They outshoot the Golden Knights for the first time in the series. Marc-Andre Fleury doesn't like this moment very much, but they want him to at least take a bit of a curtain call. It was a quick one at that. Again, just a very humble man.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's as crushed as anyone wearing a green jersey here tonight.
And the players on both sides stayed on the ice until Marc-Andre Fleury vacated the ice and went into the dressing room. Then they all lined up going back to their respective locker rooms. So
Fleury, of course,
nice piece.
The all-time winning goaltender in Vegas Golden Knights history. Spent the last few years of his career with Minnesota. It's a pleasure, certainly, to be around him. So, Game 6 goes the way of the Golden Knights. The Wild are eliminated. And congrats to the Vegas Golden Knights moving on again. After last year they lost in a Game 7 to Dallas. They trailed this best of 7, 2-1. They took Games 4 and 5 in overtime. And our third straight one-goal game of the series. And the first ever one-goal game between these two teams in Stanley Cup playoff competition that didn't require overtime, as Vegas prevails 3-2. And Tom, I think you said it well. Just a season that the Wild should be proud of. 14th all-time Stanley Cup playoff appearance, 11th in the last 13 years. And with everything that they endured, their great start put them in a spot to get where they were, which was to clinch a playoff spot in the final day of the regular season, the final game of the regular season. They did it in dramatic fashion, and they gave Vegas everything they could handle. And Minnesota probably leaves this series feeling like they deserved a better fate. Felt like some bounces and some calls maybe didn't go their way, but at times you have to make your breaks when it gets to be this time of year. And first team to win 4 moves on, and the Vegas Golden Knights able to do that.
Yeah, and the Vegas Golden Knights, good hockey club, no question about it. Minnesota, I thought, really played well in this series, and you hate to lose them. You want to be part of it, and I know the players right now just sitting in their locker room. They're not walking around, they're just sitting there and just kind of dejected. Is it really over? And, yeah, it is for this season, but there's a lot of work to be done and a lot of things to be proud of with these players also, and the fact that Minnesota's had their share of injuries, as every team does, but it's key injuries that certainly hurt them. But to give Minnesota credit for being where they are and getting into the playoffs on that final game, as we talked about too, Joe, how exciting that was. I said if they could have scored that tying goal, the roof would have come off this building. Unfortunately, it did not happen.
They had a couple of looks late, some shot blocks by the Golden Knights, some near misses as well by Minnesota in tight. And that was even before they got the second goal of the game from Hartman. Think about that chance for Boldy dancing through the slot, just had it knifed away. Some poke checks by the Golden Knights defense in desperation mode to try and hang on. And they ultimately did. For the Golden Knights, winning the series 4-2, they now have 61 wins in 101 Stanley Cup playoff games. Third most all-time, behind only Edmonton and the New York Islanders as far as the first 100 playoff games of any franchise. They are moving on, and they will await the winner of that Pacific Division battle between Edmonton and the LA Kings. And the 4-time Pacific Division champs are out of the first round again. For Minnesota, Tom, what does the offseason and next year look like in your eyes?
Well, first of all, the beginning of the year, we all talked about the goal was to get in the playoffs. The goal was to get there, and good things can happen. They got to the playoffs. Now next year, I hope the goal is to get to that second round. And that's the one thing that Minnesota really misses, is getting that second round. They've been there before. They know what it's like, but it's been a long time. So hopefully the changes that are made, and there will be changes, as there always are with every team in the NHL. You're going to see some guys leave and some new people brought in. And that's up to Bill Guerin and his staff to determine who's going to be here for next year, who's going to be at camp. And hopefully some of the young kids down in the Iowa Wild will get an opportunity to show what their wares are as well. You hope you're building for the future.
Because of all the injuries this year, certainly a lot of call-ups, a lot of role players contributed to this team's success. Their star players as well, like Matt Boldy having a remarkable campaign, leading the team in points and having a great playoff series. Just came up a little bit short. We talked about how good Philip Gustafson was. You have free agents to be like John Merrill, Marco Rossi, a restricted free agent, Marc-Andre Fleury heading to the next stage in his next chapter of his life and his career as he will enter retirement. And, of course, there are certainly some other pieces coming into the fold, like a Zeev Buium, maybe a David Jiricek, Danil Yurov coming over from Russia. And then we'll see what free agency brings for Minnesota. Finally, out of a lot of that cap penalties from the Parise and Suter buyouts, should be an interesting offseason after the draft for the Wild. Tom, any other final thoughts before I try to send us off properly?
No, Joe, just been a pleasure working with you all season long. You've worked so hard to make it a good broadcast, and all I do is kind of follow your lead. And I know that the fans really appreciate you as well, talking to them down the pub and how you describe things to. I mean, how you see some of that stuff is beyond me. You got great eyesight. I need bigger glasses or something. But congratulations and a great year for you. I mean, you did, as they would say, a job well done.
Thank you, my friend. Obviously, the feeling is very mutual.
Next year.
I was going to say year 25 for you next season.
No.
Well, with the Wild.
Oh, no, that'll be 26 or 27. They started in 2000, and now it's going to be going up to 26. You got to go back and put them all down.
Well, I'm not a math guy. Either way, it's been a heck of a run. Love having you alongside,
fun.
and looking forward to October, my friend.
Yep, me too. Thanks, Joe.
A couple other people, of course, to thank, including Minnesota Wild ownership and Craig Leopold, Matt Maka at the top of the food chain on the management side. The hockey operations staff, so good to us, from Bill Guerin down on through John Hines and his coaching staff, all those interviews all season long. The players so gracious with their time. So thank you to everybody who helps make Minnesota Wild broadcast possible. And, of course, our flagship home, KFAN, Chad Abbott, program director, my thanks to him, and the various affiliates. We have the largest radio network in the entire National Hockey League, so thank you to all those stations and all the listeners and fans who've tuned in and followed along on social media and interacted with us, various road cities. State of Hockey always shows up, and we appreciate everybody that's tuned in all season long. Special thanks as well to our engineer at home games, Zach Halverson, Tim Parachka, Colin Landsteiner, Alexis Pearson, some of the best at their job, board ops throughout the NHL. We thank them for their dedication, hours behind the scene. Of course, Kevin Fulness, our host, pregame show, postgame show, running the intermissions. He does it all, and we thank Kevin Fulness for his excellent work and dedication to the Wild broadcast over so many years. Well, that's going to do it for the 24-25 season. It ends in, unfortunately, more disappointment and heartbreak for the Minnesota Wild. They fall 3-2 in Game 6 to the Golden Knights, who win the final 3 games of the series and eliminate the Wild in 6 games. They are moving on. The Wild turn the page to the 25-26 season. For Tom Reed, I am Joe O'Donnell, signing off one final time this season. Again, thanks for listening. And thanks to Tom, of course, for being such a great partner to work with for the last few years. Really appreciate his friendship and his dedication to Wild hockey. That's going to do it. 3-2 the final. The Golden Knights hang on. They beat the Wild and eliminate Minnesota from Stanley Cup contention. We'll see you in October. Enjoy the offseason. Enjoy the rest of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Again, thanks for listening. The post-game show comes your way next. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Listening to the 2025 Stanley Cup Playoffs. The postgame is next, so stick around. This is Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
At Anderson, we understand the challenges of builders and contractors better than most. Here's proof from real pros.
The best service department is the one you don't need, right?